Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
I love sports.
Sports. When
It comes to
Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
TexAgs Live.
I feel like I should be listening to the theme song from the Jeffersons. You know, we're moving on up.
We will develop men. We will graduate players. And we will win championships on the field.
The best way for us to win is to do it together.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
This one's special. The 12th man this past week was unbelievable.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies. Obi, I don't know if we start there or we get there eventually, but let's just say you're not somebody to trifle with.
Well, let's just say I don't suffer fools easily. So I know where you're getting at.
I mean, I don't want to poke the bear. We could just give a quick version.
Okay, there's this guy that runs a web, I don't know if it's a website. He runs something.
He tweets.
At Auburn.
Yeah.
And every year he always asks me he sends 10 questions. He asks me to answer them from the opponent's point of view.
Yep.
So as I don't get paid. I don't even know the guy. I don't even know his name. But as a professional courtesy, I'll say, yeah,
You always are very polite to the media that ask you to do the show.
Right. And I'll take 10 or 15, 20 minutes. But then he puts it on Twitter and he puts something that says, unlike I may be having a little bit off, but unlike Texas A&M coach Mike Elko, TexAgs Olin Buchanan says the A&M are focused, that the Aggies are focused on Auburn. Which I sent a message back, said, look, dude, Elko was asked repeatedly about Texas, and that's why he misspoke. And if you didn't get that, okay, that's your deal. But I said, don't attach to me that criticism and don't ask me to do this anymore. I mean, if that's the way you do your business, because I just think that's a cheap shot. And what ensued was this back and forth of exchanges, and he's trying to justify it. And I'm saying, look, if you want to write it yourself, that's your business. Just don't attach it to me. So he says, yeah, but all these other outlets. So he sent screenshots of these different media outlets that were making fun of Elko for saying,
I know exactly right. And I think I knew when he accidentally said that, that people were going to run with it.
Mm-hmm. Sure they would.
But people are stupid.
So I'll
get back to the stupid in a minute.
So finally, I just ended it with say, look, dipstick. I may not have said stick. I said, look, dipstick.
Dipsick.
None of those were attached to me. If you can't figure that out, you're beyond help. So, and then
Bleep, bleep.
And so take off or something that might have said something off.
Flipping right, buddy.
Man, you do something nice for somebody, Again, if the guy or anybody else looks at that video, that comment, and wants to use that to make fun of him or whatever, really I don't have any problem with that because you're doing it. But I
do have a problem with it.
It doesn't. It's what people do. I know. But at least you're taking.
Sure. I understand your point.
You're trying to make it look like I'm part of that.
Yeah. This is what I want to say about that, though, because I saw it this week and I avoided that topic on purpose because I thought, I'm not going to bring light to something stupid like that. This is what's happened to our profession. Mm-hmm. This is what's happened with social media, that people can't wait to get a pat on the back or a little laugh. Oh, look at this awesome tweet. Beep. Oh, look, I got 19 people to like it. Yeah. Your whole shtick is about getting interactions and oh my God. And look, maybe I haven't evolved because I don't care. I post stuff because I thought my job was to inform, entertain, and sometimes that is entertaining. I get it. But I like when people used to actually look for context, read deeper.
Right.
If you heard the question was about Texas.
And if you'd heard how many of the guy, so.
But people that their brand, that their model is, I'm just going to have these funny takes based on one little mess. I just don't have respect for you. Doesn't mean you can't have a successful business. I have zero, just like a car salesman, right? You have good car salesman, and you have the sleazy car salesman, right? The sleazy car salesman, I think, ruins it for everybody else.
Well, again, if that's what you want to do on your site or your page or whatever, that's your business. Just don't try to use me to be part of.
I don't want to be part of the joke.
And I like being, I used to love my profession because I think there was a certain standard of professionalism to it. And it just bothers me that there's not anymore.
No, but is he really in the profession? Is he going to be in the press box?
I don't know. If I saw the guy, I wouldn't know him.
I hope he is.
I know I do have a friend from...
I'm not going to be there, though.
I know I have a friend who covers Auburn, and his name's Brian Matthews. He runs their website, and he does a great job. And I texted him and said, do you know who this guy is? He said, oh, yeah, he's a weirdo. So, sorry, Brian.
Sorry, Brian.
No, he didn't really say that. I'm paraphrasing.
Anyway, the reason I thought, hey, I like controversy. Like, I don't know if I like controversy. I do like, I like.
Well, you're like me in that you don't go looking for trouble, but if someone creates an issue, that you don't mind answering them.
No, I got no problem. And to be honest with you, I sometimes get jealous because you get involved in these more than I do.
That's because I'm available more than you are.
Yeah, you are. What was Dipstick? Dipstick, I probably would have said no to the interview. Like, you're very kind.
Right. I mean, again, it's always...
I don't want to do it like with kids in the car. Like, hold on, shut up. I got to do an interview. I just sometimes I'm like, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I do everything they ask because it's professional courtesy and to get TexAgs' name out there as often as I can. But sometimes you step over the line. There was this guy who was kind of mentally challenged in Alabama, and I won't ever do a show again.
Oh, my gosh.
OB, I thought that's the story you were telling.
No, different story.
And it turned into another one. You're 2 for 2 in Alabama.
So I've got a guy from Alabama and a guy from Auburn that are on my list.
That guy from Alabama one time, I guess he didn't know who I was. It was early on in my tenure at TexAgs. Was talking very bad about Jimbo at the lunch table that I was at. And let's just say I said a couple words, and our friend with the beard stopped. It's like, it's all good. It's all good. So
yeah, I think that one guy is.
It doesn't matter. Look,
he was dropped on his head at birth.
Look, if you want to attach press conference answers and try to formulate something as bulletin board, if you're Hugh Freeze, do whatever you got to do. Okay, but I have a problem with social media, and I get it. It's the world we live in, but when they drag you into it, they drag me into it, buddy.
I'll tell you, I'll give you an example. One year I wrote an article about Auburn was coming to town. They had Jeremy Johnson, who was their quarterback that was hyped for the Heisman Trophy, and it was just a complete disaster. And I wrote a column. Unfortunately, Auburn won the game. But I wrote a column in the context of a what do you call it, therapy session.
Yep.
And he says, "Yeah, I'm who was the coach then? Gene Chizik?
Yeah,
no, not Gene. It
was Chizik?
It was Gus.
Oh, Malzahn.
Yeah, I'm Gus Malzahn. And he said, I'm here. I've been having trouble with my Johnson. So that's what I wrote. And why I'm here, I'm having trouble with my Johnson. And Jeremy's not doing what we thought he'd do. So anyway, all those things. Well, look, if somebody read that and was offended by it, okay. But at least I'm the guy to come after because I'm the guy that wrote it. I didn't try to attach it to anybody else.
Right. See, that makes sense. I enjoy drama, but I also let me rephrase that. I hate drama. But when drama appears,
you'll deal with it.
Let's take off the gloves. Let's go, bro.
Yes.
But it never happens. And let's hope that A&M goes to this game with that approach, right? Like, it'd be impossible not to think about what is possible, right? Like, that's why we play a season. Week 1, you lose, you're thinking, oh, we better win week 2, right? Like, it'd be impossible not to think about what is at stake if you lose this game or if you win this game, right? Yeah. But it doesn't matter if you don't win the game.
Right.
You've got to win the game. So I if they were to go to Auburn and lose, it's not because they were thinking of Texas. It's because they had a bad day at the office again on the road.
And Auburn, then you have to think, well, are they a bad road team? Because they didn't really play well at Mississippi State. They did at Florida, but they didn't at Mississippi State.
Didn't at South Carolina.
And obviously didn't at South Carolina. But
buddy,
let's see who they are.
Buddy, it's progress.
Well, that's true.
They
got 2 wins on the road.
2 wins on the road as opposed to 0 the last 3 years. So,
yeah, and it's funny because I've been listening to different national radio guys and maybe some SEC guys, and I see it seems like a lot of folks think that they're picking Auburn to win that game. And I get it; they're at home at night, and A&M hadn't played particularly well of late. But Auburn, the last time they played an SEC team, they only scored 7 points in a 17-7 loss to Vanderbilt.
Right. Look, if the defense comes to play, A&M's winning.
I think so.
Yeah.
Hopefully the offense will score.
A&M has done, I think, a really good job stopping the run. I know they didn't against South Carolina. But if you look, let's look through. You don't agree?
Well, I think what A&M is against the run is I think they're kind of schizophrenic, which
they'll have a bad half or a bad quarter, and then they'll figure it out, or vice versa, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, 6 of the teams they played had 125 rushing yards or less, right? But when they aren't on, then
big runs.
South Carolina goes for 244 and Notre Dame goes for 198.
Yep.
So,
but I think we all agree. Well, I don't know if we agree. Let me ask. The South Carolina game was about tackling more than anything else, right?
Yes. So are you going to tackle?
Was it? It was. I don't think it was scheme. I don't think it was. Jordan Pugh told me alignment wasn't good, but if you just, I don't want to focus on South Carolina.
Throw that one away.
If you tackled Lenore Sellers on the 3rd play of the game, I think you win the game. 2nd play, excuse me. Yeah, it was set up a 3rd and 16. Yeah, you win the game. I'm sorry, that play. That's the play, in my opinion. But
that's the play that sets the tone.
Yeah. So all right, let's do a little chit chat here. It's time to run our mouths. 3 things we want to see, brought to you by the Brazos Running Company, your local Aggie-owned specialty running store where you can find Brooks On and Hoka shoes, located at the Century Square below the Star Cinema Grill in College Station. OB, what are 3 things that you want to see? I didn't tell the people what show this is. Does it matter?
Yeah, let's tell them.
TexAgs Live, presented by?
CC Creations.
Well, no. That would be the Go Hours, presented by CC Creations.
Okay. David Gardner's jeweler. He's a gem of a guy. He'll forgive me for that one.
Huh?
He'll forgive me for that one. David Gardner.
He will.
Yeah.
Rollo Insurance Studio.
The Rollo Insurance Studio in the cool zone.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the holistic planning cool zone.
Yeah, it is.
You can invest in pro sports with investment, tax, estate, and invest in pro sports. Yes.
Well, that's the investment part.
Well, yeah, it is. Yeah. But if you want to geo-target.
You can invest in all kinds of things, including pro sports.
Geo-target. So what do we want to see? Give me 3 things.
Yeah, okay. First of all, I want to see Amari Daniels run like a man possessed. Just run. Because, he had a 79-yard run against Auburn last year.
Yep.
I want to see a couple of those, Amari. I want to see you run. I want to see, like you just mentioned, I want to see that A&M defense play strong against the run. Really strong.
Yep.
Like, set that edge. Don't let Jarquez Hunter get a head of steam going. Just, stop him at the line of scrimmage. Make every yard that he gets a labor. And then, we haven't seen a lot of it lately. I know it's in you. We got to get that pass rush. I want Peyton Thorne to be so under pressure that he's inclined to make even more mistakes than usual. And that pass rush, I think, will then become interceptions.
Yep. I want to see rushing for over 200 yards as a team.
Okay. All right.
I'd like to see that. And I think that includes Amari going for 70, 80 plus, and also Marcel Reed in the same kind of ballpark. That's what I'd like to see. Okay. I want to see that. I want to see the wide receivers make some plays.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll take the tight ends, but okay.
Oh, yeah. I want to see the pass catchers make some plays. Okay.
Right.
I want to see some pass catchers make some plays. And the last thing I want to see fear and hope. Okay. I want to see a performance that gives us hope, like, oh, we're going to beat Texas up, right?
Okay.
Right? You win this game, but the way you win the game is like a message to all the SEC when we're focused, and then fear in the hearts of opposing SEC teams, including the one we'd play next week, about, oh, man, this team is legit. That's the kind of performance I want to have before.
Well, yeah, I would think you want to go into that game on a, I don't know if hot streak's the right word, but feeling good about what you just did. You don't want to kind of slink into the game.
Right.
Is that a word? Slink?
Yeah. No,
I know there's a slinky. But
I would look. I think it's going to be a close game. But what I'd like to see is the kind of game where you're like, oh, they took care of business on the road, and it wasn't close. Are we going to get that? I think it's going to be tight. I do. I think Auburn plays tight games. That's what they've done all year long. But let's say if you have a Florida-like performance before the Texas game, I'd be quite happy.
I'd like to see a first half like I saw in about 2016. Remember Myles Garrett blocking that field goal just on the last play?
Speaking of Myles Garrett.
I called it. I told Gabe, I said, I bet you Myles is going to block this field goal. What do you know he didn't?
He did.
So, but they scored like I can't remember, 27, 31 points in the first half. And then I want to see a second half like we saw last year in the second half against them. Remember the first half, they only had 6 points.
Yeah.
Connor got hurt, but the second half, they were completely in control.
Yeah, Max had a good second half.
I don't know if we're going to get both of those. Make it the second half.
And if you look at the last 3 times this team has played, they are, well, last year got a little bit out of hand, but you go back to 21 where you won, but you didn't score an offensive touchdown.
Yeah.
That was the Michael Clemens touchdown, the
going backwards into it, into the end zone. Mm-hmm.
So
Bo Nix.
Yeah. All right. If you want to be a part of the conversation, call us up on the Boss Firearms Hotline, 979-693-1150, or you can text us on the Little Sluggers text line, 979-693-1150. We're going around the room and we say hi to the people. Behind the glass is Nick Savage. Nick, good morning.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
What's up, buddy?
2 things I want to see. I know you didn't ask me, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Do it anyway.
2 turnovers. Give me 2 turnovers. Keep it clean on your side. Or just in general, win the turnover battle, and you're in a good spot, I think.
You win the turnover battle, I think you probably win, right? I mean,
probably.
Not a guarantee, but probably.
I agree. And then, like I already mentioned it kind of earlier this week, but and you kind of said the same thing, David. I want to see Marcel get like 8 to 10 carries, not necessarily scrambles, but some design runs mixed in there, some read option stuff. Get him running the ball because he's awesome using his legs, so let him get out in space and hopefully create some big plays.
I don't have to mention this, OB, but the biggest thing I want to see, there's 2 big things. Okay, so I gave you the 3 things I want to see, but on top of that, if I were to put a headline, a win and health. Right? Health is really important.
Yes, it is.
Very important for what is at stake.
But to Nick's point, I'd like to see Marcel run more. I want to see more of the. Remember that poor linebacker at Florida whose jock was up around his head that he got faked out so bad by Marcel. I want to see more of that.
Yeah, and maybe the entire LSU team that got.
Yeah, but he just ran by them.
Yeah, he did.
That poor guy at Florida, he probably has nightmares about that.
Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Polanski is in the house. McKinley, hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Good.
I think he's good. I think he's doing pretty
well.
Pretty good.
Doing well.
I'm doing pretty well. Yeah.
Doing well.
Same.
Pretty good.
Well.
This is getting long.
Okay. This happens every time. Okay. The Texas A&M volleyball team returns to Reed Arena Friday night, tonight, as it hosts Georgia with first serve set for 6:30 p.m. Both the Aggies and Bulldogs play their 14th conference match of the season today. A&M holds 5th in the league standings with a 7-6 record and enters the matchup following a win at Oklahoma, while the Bulldogs are 12th in the SEC at 4-9 and are coming off a loss to Kentucky.
All right.
This is it. This is the time.
Go win this one, Jamie.
This is a hard one. What'd you say Georgia's record was?
4-9. 4-9.
4-9. All right. So not as hard as I thought, but
well, you don't take anything for granted.
You don't take anything for granted. That's right. Well, I think that's right. Jamie was talking on the show about like they're in all these games, and it's just the SEC is such a grind that I think they were preseason top 10.
Really?
I think is what he said. Yeah. So what else, McKinley? Let's do one more.
Yes, the swimming and diving team remained dominant at the Art Adamson Invitational Thursday night, with both men's and women's teams holding on to first place.
All right. I like first place.
We got some good swimmers.
Yeah.
They're first place like the Aggies in the football standings.
And I know we'll have a women's tennis update a little bit later. Let's hit a break here. PrizePicks.com/TexAgs.
Okay.
You know it.
Yeah.
Password is TexAgs.
TexAgs.
You get $50 once you play in $5 lineups the first time you do it,
How
right?
often do you get someone just give you $50?
Not often.
Doesn't happen to me much.
But I want to tell you some of my picks. I'm not going to give you all of them, but I think there's going to be some controversy on some of these.
Let's hear it.
Jalen Milroe, all right? I had him passing for less than 214 and a half passing yards.
Who are they playing?
Don't
Oklahoma?
They do have Oklahoma, yeah.
It may be a good pick because he may be sitting down in the third quarter.
Quinshon Judkins, less than 65 and a half rushing yards?
You take less than. Well, they do like this.
They have two running backs, remember?
Yeah, they have him and Henderson.
Yeah, and he's been less than many times.
Yeah, and their starting center got hurt this week.
Trey Harris.
94
and a half.
I'll take the over.
Yeah, he's really good.
God, he's good.
Let's see. What other one do I want to give you? How about this one? Let's see. No, I don't want to do that one. Let me give you Cam Ward. 340.5 passing yards.
That's a lot. Versus who?
But it's an easy team. Is it? Who is it?
Wake Forest.
Wake Forest. I knew it was a bad team. Yeah.
He can definitely do it. He's been over 300 yards in every game but one.
Yes.
And they need, you know what?
I put him as less
lot.
than.
That's a lot. Less than's a smart pick. I'd say, because just to be different, I'll say more than. I wouldn't be surprised if he had more than.
This week, Tyreek Hill, more than a half yard receiving yards. You get a free square for Turkey Day. Yeah, for Turkey Day. Notes, let's see what else I can tell you. It's Flex Friday, sweat play free when you get your money back, and that's next week begins Picks Giving, where Prize Picks will be giving out discounts and free plays all week long. PrizePicks.com/TexAgs. Use the password TexAgs for those $50 once you play in $5 lineups. Welcome back into TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate everybody listening in here on the program. Let's give away a free car wash, shall we? Aggieland Express Car Wash. They've got 2 great locations. The original William B. Fitch behind Shipley's and South College Station. That's the one I've been to many, many times. The newest location, 2528 Texas Avenue South in College Station across from the Planet Fitness. They have all those services you want. The Texas Avenue location does offer the full-service wash. Their team will take care of all the cleaning, the drying, the vacuuming, you name it, they'll do it. They have 3 levels of full-service washes. We're going to give a free one away, 979-693-1150. And the first caller will get a free $40 value for one of those washes. Give us a call right now, 979-693-1150. It is Aggieland Express Car Wash. OB.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to give you a moment to prepare because I didn't tell you. Let's do some of your matchups that you're keeping your eyes on, shall we?
Yeah, give me
Because a couple things about this game. I'm really interested in watching the DBs versus our wide receivers, A&M's wide receivers, because I think their DBs are young and pretty elite. They're not there yet. They're trending in that elite direction. I think you have, 2 freshmen starting and a sophomore in their DBs.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty good. But for A&M, I don't know if for A&M to win this game. For A&M to make it easier on the running game, Noah and the guys are going to have to Jabri,
Well, I would think that Auburn is going to, their defense is going to be focused on stopping the run.
Sure.
And then you loosen that up by having some success in the passing game. But let's talk about some of the matchups. All right, I'm going to start with running back Amari Daniels against the Auburn linebacker Dorian, I think it's called Maussi. I may have it wrong, M-A-U-S-I. But anyway, look, the Aggies have relied heavily on the running game. We all know that. And now Daniels is the focus of that running attack. Last 3 games, 30 carries for 258 yards. That's an 8.6-yard average per attempt.
Fantastic.
That's fantastic. He's been explosive with that 56-yard touchdown run against South Carolina and the 71-yard run against New Mexico State. But in the Aggies' 2 losses, 146 yards rushing against Notre Dame and 144 against South Carolina. So that kind of shows the importance of that running game. I bring up Maussi because he leads Auburn with 62 tackles. So he's kind of like Torian York, the focus of that run defense. He's the leading tackler on Auburn. They're ranked 3rd in the SEC against the run.
They're pretty good at it, yeah.
Yeah, they've allowed fewer than 85 rushing yards in each of their last 4 games, but they haven't faced a Power 4 opponent with a running game as strong as A&M's.
Yep.
So I think that's a key matchup. Also, kind of where you were going, I just took a little bit different approach. It's Marcel Reed versus the Auburn pass defense. I think that Reed is making progress at every start. He's had over 200 yards passing in each of his last 2 starts. He's steadily raising his completion percentage. Overall, he's thrown for 1,129 yards and 9 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions. Now, statistically, Auburn will be the second best, or is the second best SEC defense Marcel will have faced. They allow an average of 200.3 passing yards a game. They're 0-3 versus, quote, Power 4 opponents when allowing more than 200 passing yards. So maybe that's something to look at. They have a solid pass rush, which has produced 23 sacks. So, Reed's scrambling ability may be a factor there.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Any other ones you want to get into?
Well, why don't we talk one more about A&M's run defense against Auburn running back Jaquez Hunter. We talked about it before. Even though I think it's 7 A&M opponents have been held to 125 yards rushing or less, the Aggies are only 10th in the SEC in run defense because of the big yards given up primarily to Notre Dame and to South Carolina. So they've got to be much better there. Now, Auburn or Hunter, he's this shifty speedster with the strength to run through tackles. So you're going to have to be careful there. But he's exceeded 100 yards only 3 times this year. They
don't give him the ball a lot.
Yeah, I don't get it. But he had 278 yards against Kentucky, 152 against New Mexico, and 102 against ULM. Of course, they won all those games. He had 97 yards rushing in a loss to Oklahoma and 91 yards in a loss to Georgia. They lost that game to Oklahoma. Had nothing to do with Hunter. Yeah. Overall, second in the SEC in rushing with 1,015 yards.
Look, if the A&M defensive line gets after Peyton Thorne the way they got after Nussmeier.
Mm-hmm.
They do that
in the second half.
In the second half, yes. First half,
or the way they did Taylor Green the whole game. Taylor Green the whole game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Except for that third down conversion that they had, that they missed a potential sack.
But see, they were even after him there. He was just able to step up and make a play.
Yeah, he was.
But he was still under pressure. He just made a great play.
Let's do a little pick six on the other side,
Let's
Obi,
do
shall
that.
we? All right, 1775. I'm going to make it super simple. I love the food there. If you don't trust me, do a taste test challenge, right?
Yeah.
Just go there, taste it, and tell me what you think. We know people who've done it recently, right? Like, people have gone and like, man, you weren't lying. That queso mac and cheese was awesome.
Queso mac and cheese.
The ribs were fantastic. You name it.
I love those ribs.
They're great.
Yeah, they are. I mean, if I was wanting to build bridges with the Auburn guy and he was in town, that's where I would take him. I don't think I do want to build bridges.
Right.
But if I wanted to build bridges with anybody, I would take them to 1775 and say, hey, listen, an olive branch is nice.
Yep.
But a big rack of ribs is even better.
Remember when Michael Corleone met with one of the heads of the family at the Italian place that they loved so much?
Yeah.
Actually, I think they just randomly picked it. But, even if you aren't on the same page with somebody, you can still go and have a good meal. Let's just be honest about it.
Yeah, but you can come out without shooting anybody.
Yeah, I didn't say shoot.
I thought that Michael Corleone did.
Well, he might have, but that was a different situation. This is a verbal war. That was a turf war.
Yeah. So anyway, 1775. If you have a friend that you want to treat to a great lunch or dinner, or if you want to have a foe that you want to mend fences with, that's the place to go.
They're open Thursday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until they're sold out. Online ordering turns off at 10 a.m. 1775txbbq.com. Check it out. Everyone, David Nuño here in a moment right now for Snaps Clothing. They are the makers of the only official licensed Texas A&M Pearl Snap shirts. I'm wearing it right now. This is part of their Tailgater collection. It's built for game day. My friend Edgar over there is doing great work. You've got to check out the clothing. It's the Pearl Snaps. It's the cool look. It's kind of hip, but also Western. You'll love it, and they have great stuff there. They'll keep you comfortable as you're repping your Aggie gear, and it's the place to go to get it. Whether you're watching the game from home or tailgating before watching the stands, these shirts have you covered. Head to snapsclothing.com. That is snapsclothing.com to gear up for the season. We are back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It's the Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. Myles Garrett yesterday with a message to TJ Watt. I have a lot of respect for him, but I'm number one. That's from, what else did he have to say? And by the way, Myles Garrett, he goes, yes, I'm that guy. That runs through me. Myles Garrett with 3 sacks. TJ Watt yesterday, 0 sacks.
Yeah, I think Myles made his point.
Dude's great. He's so good. And by the way, I'm kind of enjoying Jameis Winston doing well. I'm enjoying it.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm not I think anti-Deshaun guy.
I'm just ambivalent about him.
Yeah. His pregame interviews are kind of interesting to watch. You know, a little passion.
Talking about Jameis?
Yeah. A little passion. Little Christ-centered views. Like he's been interesting to watch because I remembered him as of course I've watched him in the NFL for a long time, but the Florida State kid.
Yeah.
He's matured. He's matured quite a bit.
Yeah, he doesn't even have steel crab legs now. People just give them to him.
Oh yeah. When's the last time you had a crab leg?
Probably not that long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, we go down to the coast every so often.
Yeah. We didn't get crab legs when we were in Florida.
No. But I got
maybe if we go back.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, maybe.
Hope we don't, unless it's the Orange Bowl.
Yeah, that would be great. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. And in that case, I'm taking you somewhere else.
Yeah.
A little Kuan.
I don't know. There's that place that do the famous stone crab legs down in Miami. Joe's
Stone Crab, I think.
Yeah, I think we gotta go to that place. We go to Miami.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's cheap. I think you have to get on the list like months in advance.
I've seen the menu because I looked it up one time before we were going to go last time.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. I like eating there. I think I'm going to eat there later today. McKinley, let's get into our pick 6, which is, by the way, brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs, $50 once you play $5 lineups. McKinley.
Number 5, Indiana, is traveling to number 2, Ohio State. They are playing at 11 a.m. at Ohio Stadium. It will be on Fox, and Ohio State is favored by 12.5 points.
I feel like this is a big number. Mm-hmm. I still think Ohio State wins.
I think Ohio State wins.
12.5 seems like I could see, it is, but it isn't. I could see Ohio State demolishing them. I could see Ohio State winning by like 10 to 12 points.
I think I'm going to take Indiana.
Yeah.
It's
a big number.
It's all the injuries in Ohio State's offensive line.
But do you think Indiana's going to win?
No.
Okay.
No, but I'm going to take 12.5 points.
Yeah, I am too. Ohio State they have not been that impressive. One loss against the top team of the country.
Yeah, and I'm not so sure if that's not the most impressive they've been this year.
Yeah.
In that loss.
Yeah. I'm going to
Ohio State wins by 10.
If Ohio State wins by 20 plus, what happens to Indiana in their playoff?
They probably get dismissed. And they still might get in as long as they're 11-1. How are you going to? But now if they get, 20 plus might say something because they have such a weak strength of schedule.
They do.
The only team they've beaten, or the only team they've played with a winning record, is Washington at 6-4.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm taking Indiana, but I think Ohio State wins. Next one.
Number 9, Ole Miss, is traveling to Florida. They are playing at Florida Field at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium at 11 a.m. It will be on ABC, and Ole Miss is favored by 9.5 points.
Struggling with this one too, but I think I'm going to take Florida just to keep it within the 9.5.
Yeah, I'm going to take Kiffin because he's going to be showing Florida what they're going to get whenever they decide to move on
and get
from when they. Napier, when they decide to move on from Napier and they need to hire a coach, Lane's going to show them this is what you're going to get, especially if Trey is ready to play.
Trey Harris. Don't talk me out of it. I'm going to stay with Florida just because I think it's a big number, but you almost talked me into taking Ole Miss.
I'd say Ole Miss by 10.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Next one.
Number 14, BYU, is traveling to number 21, Arizona State. They are playing at Mountain America Stadium at 2:30 p.m. It will be on ESPN, and Arizona State is favored by 2.5 points.
I'm taking BYU.
Yeah, I am too.
I want to take Arizona State because I like their story.
Yeah.
But BYU, this is it. Like, they have to win.
Yeah. Well,
so does Arizona State. But I think BYU is more suited for this moment.
I'm going to pick BYU while hoping that Arizona State wins.
Well, you're in first place of this game. Let's not.
Yeah. Look, I've just been. I
You're
went
tied
on.
with
I had about
somebody.
6 weeks of success, and then last week I was 2-4.
I'm in second to last after doing pretty well the last 2 weeks.
But I'm not. I'm not cocky about it because I know how quickly that changes.
It fades.
But I'm going to take BYU and hope that Arizona State wins.
All right. La próxima. That means the next one.
Okay. I figured. Number 19, Army versus number 6, Notre Dame. They are playing at 6 p.m. at Yankee Stadium. It will be on NBC, and Notre Dame is favored by 13.5 points.
I am going Notre Dame, buddy.
Outlined against a blue-gray November sky. The 4 horsemen. Or they don't have 4 horsemen anymore. They have what's the quarterback's name from Duke? Riley Leonard? Riley Leonard rides again, and Notre Dame wins by more than 14.
Yeah.
I'd love for Army to win.
I would too. I mean,
I looked it up. Their opponents are, I don't have
bad.
exactly, but it's something like 24 and 50 something. I mean,
well, what would it say if they won? Holy smokes.
I would love to see it.
Yeah.
Of course, then somebody said, what does it say about A&M?
Doesn't say anything because if they win the next 2, it doesn't matter.
That's right.
Doesn't matter. So
That's right.
If they lose, then I want Notre Dame to win.
Yeah, but I think Notre Dame wins by double digits.
I agree. So we're so far 3 for 3. All right.
Well, no, we have
4 for 4,
one visit.
Right?
I took Ole Miss.
Ole
You
Miss,
got
Florida. Yeah. Yep. Next one.
Number 7, Alabama is traveling to Oklahoma.
Alabama all day long. Isn't it like 14 or 13 and a half?
14 and a half.
Alabama all day long.
Yeah. Oklahoma's so bad. They're not going to get. Who did they have last week? LSU.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to get bowl eligible.
I don't either.
Yeah.
But man, what a bad week bad month for LSU. You lose 3 games in a row, and then the number 1 ranked prospect in the country flips to Michigan. That's awful, man. My son called me yesterday. He was like morose.
Yeah, I'm taking Alabama as well. That's a big number, but Oklahoma is big bad.
Oklahoma just doesn't score. I think Alabama could score 24 points and cover that.
Call it a
spread.
game.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so we're both taking Bama.
Last one, number 15, Texas A&M is traveling to Auburn. They're playing at Jordan-Hare Stadium at 6:30 p.m. on ESPN. Texas A&M is favored by 2.5 points.
I don't do well on the Aggies this year. They keep letting me down.
A&M's going to win by 10. Okay, that's what I'm saying. It. Boom. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
I'm taking the Aggies.
I'm taking the Aggies by 10.
By 10.
By 10.
I'll take them and give the 2.5.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
all I need to do is win by 3.
Yeah.
And you know what? Again, what could be a close game, Randy Bond has been almost automatic in every state but Florida.
And they have not been
And
good.
they're very sporadic in their kicking game.
They have a walk-on who's now their starting kicker. He's doing their field goals, I should say. Their original starting kicker is doing the kickoffs, but he has missed a lot of game-changing field goals. So this walk-on from Alabama, Birmingham, I believe it is, that he came from, I think he's been the guy recently. He's been much more successful. I'm taking him. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not taking him. I'm taking him to A&M, and I'm taking them to miss field goals in this game.
Yes.
That was poorly worded.
A&M does have the advantage in the kicking game, it would appear.
Where else does A&M have the advantage?
Well, I think A&M's...
quarterback?
Oh, yeah.
Offensive line?
Probably, yeah.
Running back? Wash?
No.
Even?
Yeah, probably. I'm gonna be objective and say Jarquez Hunter has the edge there.
But it's a slight edge?
We're just going on an edge.
An edge. Wide receiver, they have the edge?
Oh, yeah. They got the edge.
Defensive line, A&M has the edge?
A&M.
Linebacker?
Probably a wash.
Secondary, they got the edge.
Maybe. It depends on who you play.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Statistics can be deceiving.
They sure can. All right, we'll hit a break here. We'll come back with Bank on It, and we'll also come back with Kay Naegeli and Around Aggieland. Let's talk about Rollo Insurance. The difference is real. They're an independent insurance company built around educating you on exactly what you're paying for, doing the shopping for you so that you can accomplish all of your insurance goals. If you own a family business, you've got some employees, if you've got someone who gets hurt, what's going to happen next? Don't gamble with your future or your estate or your business. Details matter. Preparation matters. Consultation and education matters. Go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. Start a conversation with your personal insurance agent today. You've got questions, they've got answers for you, whatever it may be. Smart people with good information tend to make great decisions. You're a smart person, so make the wise decision. Go to RolloInsurance.com/TexAgs. Your risks are their business. 888-44-ROLLO. It's Rollo Insurance. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. We'll get to Kay Naegeli here in a moment. Bank on It, presented by Vera Bank. Authentic, relationship-based banking built for real life. Go see Joel Jackson and the team. Learn more at verabank.com. OB, what are you banking on?
I'm going to try to do something a little different. I am banking on Thor, the old Mellon Orstrom, having another big game.
I was about to go Trey Watson. I can't now.
Well, sure you can.
I can't.
They can both have the tight ends. I'm thinking they're going to get continued productivity out of that tight end position.
Okay.
I'm banking on that.
I'm banking on Noah Thomas.
Okay.
Noah Thomas, 2 touchdowns.
Two.
Okay? 2. Not 1, but 2.
Well, you'd expect Noah to bring in things by 2.
Yes, this is well played, OB. I am definitely going with, I like when you make Kay Naegeli chuckle. All right, it's time for Around Aggieland. That is presented by Norman G. State Bank. Norman G. State Bank, rock solid banking. The website is normangstatebank.com.
OB, if that happens, you got to figure out a way to write it in.
Oh, you can count on it.
that was good. It took me about 2 seconds for it to hit, but it was awesome.
Haven't been going to Sunday school lately, have
There
you?
you go. Yeah, absolutely. Let's get right into it. The Aggies hope to pluck a win from Auburn. Shout out Nick. He gave me a word to use, so I had to use the word pluck
so
in
pull
it.
away a win.
They're going to pull a win out of Auburn at Jordan-Hare.
When's the last time you pulled an eyebrow? This is old man talk.
No, I don't pull eyebrows. I pull nose hairs.
Okay, that's a little more descriptive.
That's an old man.
Okay,
Give me a word, and this is where they take it. Anyways, yes.
I didn't expect that answer.
At Jordan-Hare, 6:30. It should be an exciting one. Aggies still stood atop the SEC, looking to do some damage down the stretch. Hopefully, make an SEC championship. They need this one this weekend. Moving over to some basketball. A&M's win streak reached 4 with an incredible second half against Southern. That was this past Wednesday. They raced a large deficit to defeat Southern 71-54. Next week, the Aggies will travel to Las Vegas and compete in the Players Era Festival. That is beginning with Oregon at 3:30 p.m. on Tuesday. Joni Taylor's Aggies are having the vacation of a lifetime right now. They're in the Bahamas. I wish I was there with them. Playing in the Battle for Atlantis tournament. They will begin Saturday night against Villanova at 8 p.m., and that competition will go through Monday. On the volleyball front, the Aggies return to Reed Arena this Friday tonight to host Georgia with first serve set for 6:30. They will also host LSU on Sunday. That is 2 of their final 3 matches of the regular season. So that season is coming to a close. On the tennis front, Nicole Kieran, how about that? Outlasted Stanford's Connie May in a 3-set roller coaster on Thursday's NCAA Division I Singles Championship third round. She became just the 4th player in program history to reach the quarterfinal round of the NCAA Singles Championship. She is one of 8 players remaining in the country trying to go secure an individual national championship. She will play the tournament's 2 seed. She is from Georgia, Friday at 10 a.m., so just about to kick off in an hour. And then on the equestrian front, there you go, the number 2 team will conclude its fall slate on the road at number 9 Baylor. That is also where the tennis match is taking place Friday at noon today. So should be an awesome weekend all around.
Thank you very much, Kay. Appreciate you. All right, OB, traveling here in a few.
Yeah.
So you feel A&M is going to win, but you think it'll be closer than what I had it at?
I think it could be. I mean, it would I be
surprise you?
Would I be surprised if A&M went out and won by 14? No. But at the same time, it wouldn't be surprised to me if it came down to a field goal.
Yep.
Because I've been to Jordan-Hare and I've seen the Aggies struggle, and then I've been to Jordan-Hare, not German-Hare.
I think German-Hare is
Jordan-Hare.
Nice. Good head of hair.
I've been to Jordan-Hare, and I've seen, the Aggies win it comfortably. I remember Travion Williams with like an 80-yard touchdown run to win by 17 or something.
Right. If they play the game that I think they're going to play, I think they're going to win. And it's never comfortable when you win by 10, right? Because that means it could be a touchdown late to put you ahead. But I think if they play the game that we know that they can play, which is tackling well, running the ball well, just don't have turnovers. Pass efficiently. Just do that. I think they win comfortably. If not, they're going to be in for one, because this Auburn team has a lot of talent that can get you. They've gotten very close. Eventually, they're going to break through.
What would you have said if we were saying bank on it? I would say I'm going to crawl out on a limb and say 5 penalties or less for A&M.
I would have given you a hug in person.
I'm glad I didn't say it.
And I wouldn't have plucked your nose hair. All right, that's going to do it for the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse of CC Creations, SEC Mike, Billy Liucci. Final countdown all over the next couple hours is TexAgs Live.
What's up, TexAgs? This commercial break is brought to you by my good friends over at Aggieland Chevrolet, the official automotive sponsor of TexAgs.com and me, Billy Liucci. Greg Gunn is the proud owner of Aggieland Chevrolet and invites you to visit the dealership to experience true Aggie hospitality. From their friendly staff to the experienced service team, Aggieland Chevrolet is TexAgs approved. Check out the dealership off of Highway 6 in Bryan or go to AggielandChevrolet.com and tell them Billy Liucci sent you by.
I just spent 13 seconds talking with no microphone on, and I like doing that, especially when I turned it off and turned it on and then returned it off because I was making sure that I turned it on. I love when I do that. It's TexAgs Live. A little bit of insider information here. I'm a little disappointed in McKinley, Olin, Nick, our listeners, everybody. SEC Mike, you should hear this. I just went to the bathroom. I noticed I had toothpaste on the side of my mouth for the entire first hour of the show. Not one person made fun of me. Not one person noticed. Did you notice it?
No.
Did you notice it, Nick? No? You did notice it? And you didn't say a word? Oh, my God. SEC Mike. Michael Bratton, how are you, buddy?
Hey, doing great, Nuño. If you had toothpaste on your face, I'd let you know. I promise you that.
I think you would. I think you like sparring with me. Hey, so I think I saw that you have A&M winning this weekend, and and Shane had A&M losing. I don't remember what Shane's reasoning was. That's fine. I mean, Auburn's a tough place to play. What are your thoughts? How does this game play out?
Yeah, I think Shane he may have been drinking a little too early when he picked against the Aggies, because I think Auburn's one of the worst teams in the conference this year. And I think Hugh Freeze, if they gave out an award for worst coach of the year, he'd be the runaway winner this year. So, Auburn's got a good defense. They do have a good running back. They don't utilize the running back. Again, going back and see worst coach of the year award. But A&M, I believe they can even lose this game and make the SEC championship. Obviously, that's not the message this week in College Station. But, I mean, I would be surprised if this is – I think I have it as like a touchdown game, but that's only probably because Auburn scores late. I don't think – I think they'll be in control of this game the entire time. I think A&M's one of the better teams. Obviously, I think Auburn's one of the worst. I don't really see the danger here. And I know people say Jordan-Hare Stadium is one of the toughest places to play. Oh, yeah, it's very tough. Cal went in there this year and won. Arkansas. Hugh Freeze has won one conference game at home in his 2 years at Auburn. I mean, it's probably the most overrated home field advantage in the entire conference.
So what is it then? Is it Hugh Freeze? Is that the problem? Because they have young talent that seems to be playing well in the secondary. They obviously have some names at wide receiver. They have a great running back in Jarquez Hunter. Why are they so bad?
The offense, mostly. I mean, you score 7 on Vanderbilt. I know Vanderbilt, again, I've been like their main champion this year, but defense is not their strong suit. I'll just put it that way. So it's Hugh Freeze. I think it's his offense. 10 years ago, it was cutting edge. Now, there's nothing cutting edge about it. He can't get the ball to the playmakers. He can against Alabama A&M. He can against ULM, but he doesn't do it in conference games. Peyton Thorne's been turning it over left and right. To his credit, he has cleaned a lot of that up. I don't think he's had a turnover in about 3 games, but the last 3 or so games has been about awful competition. He'll turn it over on Saturday night, I guarantee it, against Texas A&M's defense.
Yeah, and I think the way you described Hugh reminds me of the way people talked about Jimbo the last couple of years at A&M, that, archaic offense, was hard on his quarterbacks. I was talking to an insider recently that apparently he treats Peyton Thorne terrible. Like he's really hard on his quarterbacks as well. And it seems like I've used this term over and over, has lost his fastball.
Right, and it doesn't help, David, when the coach calls out the quarterback. He's called out the running back. He's called out his receivers. He's called out the offensive line. And this is all public. I mean, I can't imagine what he says behind closed doors if he's doing this in press conferences on national television. So I have no love for Hugh Freeze, clearly.
Yeah, I like it. SEC Mike here on the Boss Firearms Hotline. Mike, let's talk about LSU and the horrible month that they've had. 3 straight losses. Just lost Derek Meadows. Michigan is supposed to get Derek Meadows. They lost the quarterback as well yesterday. I saw that all over the place. Just crazy times for them.
Yeah, and I'm not quite panicked, David, believe it or not. I mean, I think now certainly the recruiting, that's killer because we're just literally days, if a little over weeks away from the signing period. So that is devastating. But this is more of what I thought LSU was going to be this year. I kind of bought in, but I think it was fool's gold the whole time. With them running out to a 6-1 record, I was foolish enough to pick them to beat A&M. But again, they suckered me in. This is more of what I in the preseason. I think I picked LSU 10th in the conference. I mean, this is what I was expecting. I like the hires they made on the defensive side of the football in the offseason, but I don't care who you hire in terms of coaching staff. The players matter a lot more than the coaches. So I figured that the defense would be as bad as it is, and with all the talent they lost on the offensive side of the football, they had to take a big step back. So, but yeah, losing 3 games, that's unacceptable at LSU. 3 games in a row, and I think they're about to lose a 4th one. I like Vanderbilt to go into Tiger Stadium and beat LSU this weekend.
Got SEC Mike on the show. We've covered A&M Auburn. We've talked about Auburn's issues. We've talked about LSU and their issues. Billy Liucci now joining the program. Billy, I'll let you jump in there.
Whew, SEC Mike. Michael Bratton.
Yes, sir.
Vandy, bandwagon leader, is going to carry them right to wins over LSU and Tennessee. And it might happen. I've got a prediction. I'm going to predict, could the spiral in Baton Rouge actually get worse? They can't lose to OU, right? So does the losing streak reach 4? I've got this weird feeling LSU ekes by Vandy and Vandy beats Tennessee. Put me on record. I don't know why. Tennessee's obviously a significantly better team than LSU at this point in the season. I just feel like somehow, some way, they figure out a way to stop the. But actually, it makes no sense because Diego Pavia and Eli Stowers should eat that LSU defense up. Clark Lee might have a little something cooked up for the amateur hour that is their offensive coordinator. Mike, you get a lot of crap for what you say. You put yourself out there. You catch it from this desk. You catch it from Aggies. You catch it from every fan base. This is what I'm going to say, and I'm going to see if you agree with me. All I heard all offseason were LSU people across the board in purple and gold that they were going to replace Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas, the Heisman Trophy winner who's trending towards Rookie of the Year in the NFL. And oh, by the way, Mike Denbrock doesn't matter. He didn't matter because we got these 2 young guys that have never really done it, but they're waiting in the wings. So we're going to kind of push Denbrock out the door, who just led one of our greatest offenses in program history. And then we're going to act like it doesn't matter, and we're going to be a playoff team the following season. I think that was the biggest miscalculation by a group in this conference of anyone this year, with the exception maybe of the folks in Norman that thought they weren't going to get humiliated in the league this fall.
Yeah, no, I think well said. Billy, right before you hopped on, I said I believe at media days I voted LSU 9th, and I took a lot of L for that, but I never got it. I didn't understand how they were not going to take a step back, and quite frankly, I don't know if you remember this, but heading into last season, I like to make bold predictions and whatnot. I had LSU as the national champion. That was my national champion pick. And their offense
was national
lived up to it.
Caliber.
I mean, how they lost 3 games with that offense, they probably should have fired Brian Kelly then. You know what I mean? Like, it's never going to be as good on one side of the ball as it was last year for LSU with that. But here we are, and they're getting it. And now they just lost a 5-star quarterback. It's just, they better hope and pray Garrett Nussmeier comes back. And quite frankly, he looks a little broken right now. So I don't even know what next year looks like. And the one positive though about losing a 5-star quarterback, I think they want to move on from offensive coordinator Joe Sloan.
Yeah.
But he was the main recruiter of Underwood. Mm-hmm. So I think they were in a tough spot there. But now that he's decommitted, they can fire him and maybe get someone else in there. But man, year after year, you're just blowing up both sides of the football. It does not give you much confidence in Brian Kelly. How could it?
And speaking of confidence, there's a little confidence, Nuño, in Gainesville. There's a little confidence that they'll keep DJ Lagway. And I think they will, unless someone comes up with, Michigan quarterback money. But Ole Miss going in there this weekend, Mike, is there Here's where I'm at with Ole Miss. It's interesting. I think they're playing as good as anybody in the conference, maybe better. But we do these things, and I actually heard Olin say this morning. A&M's not been playing good of late. I'm like, okay, well, what was of late? They've played one game in the last this will be 2 weeks between game, or 3 weeks between SEC games. They played poorly against South Carolina. The time before that we saw them, they were outscoring LSU 31-6 in the second half. So I feel like everyone goes too high, too low. With Ole Miss, I mean, I'm like, they looked amazing against Georgia. Everyone's beaten up on Arkansas, including LSU. I think, weren't they trailing to OU at halftime? And in the game before that, they lost to LSU on the road.
Yep.
So, yes, I am buying Ole Miss, but I'm not buying that they're above reverting back to one of these kind of ho-hum games on the road. My question is, does Florida have a chance? I'm picking Ole Miss to win this thing. Does Florida have a chance to win at the Swamp and shake up this SEC race?
Mm-hmm. I mean, they got a shot. I'm with you, though. I think Ole Miss is the best team in the conference right now. I have them winning. I think the score I predicted is 42-17. And that says more about Ole Miss than it does Florida. But yeah, they have a shot, because for all the talk this week, and I'm sure you guys, everyone listening heard that, Mike Elko, we're focused on Texas, Auburn. But I think even a bigger storyline that has not gone and discussed is Lane Kiffin sitting here saying, well, we don't want to go to the SEC championship. Buddy, you got 2 games before you should even open your mouth and discuss a game you have never been to.
True.
So they're looking ahead. He's politicking. He said, we haven't had Trey Harris these last couple weeks. We didn't have Princely for LSU. We didn't have Princely for Kentucky. I mean, he is in full campaign mode for the college football playoff to ensure that his team does not get left out at 10-2. Well, buddy, you're 8-2. So maybe let your team do the talking. He's already looking ahead to that. So that, I think, would be the real danger. And if Florida, if they can start fast and keep that crowd in the game, that's a recipe. Unfortunately for them, it's a noon game, and it'd be. I like their odds a lot better if it was a night game down there in the Swamp. But Ole Miss they've won on the road. They destroyed
South Carolina.
South Carolina at South Carolina. Speaking of a hot team, So I mean, Ole Miss can. I have almost no confidence that Florida can win this game, because I think it was LSU spiraling and Florida taking advantage of them. But again, if they're looking ahead, that's the recipe, I think, for Ole Miss getting beat at Florida.
Yeah, I think about Ole Miss looking ahead might be Ole Miss winning by, 10 in a game that's a one-score game going in the fourth quarter. That type of. I think that's kind of the look ahead. I think it's interesting. You got A&M with Texas on the horizon. You've got Texas playing Kentucky with A&M on the horizon. You've got Auburn. Are they looking ahead to Bama? I don't think it matters if Alabama's looking ahead to Auburn, because they've got OU. And then you've got this Ole Miss thing, like you said, where it's clear Lane Kiffin is looking ahead to the playoff. We'll see who actually is and who isn't this weekend. Who do you think of all the contenders this week? And there's, 5 of them right now? Or is it 6? I think it's still at 6. Of all the contenders playing this weekend, who do you think has the toughest test?
Yeah, I mean, it may be A&M.
Yeah, that's mine.
Yeah.
But I think that says more about this week's slate than it does anything else. Because, again, I'm very confident that A&M beats Auburn on the road. But I've been known to be wrong, too. So, at night, hostile environment, that's when these teams seemingly go down. But I think that's the only one, because we're not counting Missouri as a contender, are we?
They were one play from us counting them, weren't they?
I think they'll lose this week. I really do. I think which would actually be bad for A&M.
Yeah.
But I think they'll lose because I don't know how locked in. I think the season went out the window losing that game. Even though last week I thought was the best Missouri looked all year.
I know.
It took way too long to get there for them.
Yeah, I was very surprised by that. I left, and I think it was 21-6 or 21-7, South Carolina. Left for the A&M game, and I was like, okay, this one that South Carolina is about to impose their will. And someone said, "Did you see South Carolina, Missouri?" I was like, assuming it was like 42-6. And then I found out what happened. I was like, damn. So I had to go back and kind of follow the way that went. I'm with you. Missouri, that may have been their shot, but they're out. Drink did a lot of talking this year for nothing. And don't tell Cousin Shane I said that. They were going to carry him off the field if they'd beat South Carolina, right?
Hey Mike,
I think he's.
Go ahead, please.
Well, I was just saying he's the damn mayor of Columbia at the moment for some reason.
He is.
Hey, I did want to go back to the Elko bringing up Texas thing. He was asked about Texas like 4 times in a row. Like it was so.
Top of mind.
That question was about Texas. Like it was like, hey, are you?
Right.
So I knew the moment it happened, like people would jump on that, but that's the why.
I think everyone knew. Everyone joked about it. It's low hanging fruit. Everyone knew that was a Freudian slip, and when you're getting grilled about Texas, he should have gone in there and been like, "I'm taking no Texas questions this week. That's it."
Speaking of Texas, that may be the answer. You ask about contenders. I kind of write them off because they're usually not playing anyone worth a pulse, which is true again this weekend.
Yeah.
But that's all Kentucky does is get up for. I don't understand it, and again, I think it's to the coaching. Mark Stoops is. I don't know. I think he's nearing the end there, but they get up for these games. This will be their 4th game this season playing a top 7 opponent. And all they've done is upset Ole Miss on the road. They took Georgia down to the wire, 1-point ball game, and then at Tennessee, which they had real opportunities to beat Tennessee in Neyland Stadium at night. They only lost by 10. That may be the answer of the team because everybody is focused on that clip and Coach Elko. But what are the odds Texas is looking ahead to A&M? I mean, I think that's a real possibility as well. So of all the contenders, most likely to – I'm picking Texas by a wide margin, but it wouldn't stun me just based on what we've seen because Kentucky does have a hell of a defense.
No, that's where I was going to go with, Mike. I do have questions. If there's one – Texas has questions because, like you said, they haven't played anyone. They don't want to hear that in Austin. They get really angry. They get angry at you. They get angry at me. They get angry at anyone that dares say it. I've seen people just – it's been wild, the reaction to just a little honesty about who they've played. It's not even so much about them. I don't find many people saying they're not a good team or they're not a playoff-worthy team. I am saying they will not be a playoff-worthy team if they lose either of these last 2 games, in my opinion. Especially if it's A&M, because that means they don't have a quality win. As far as their weakness, though, seems to be that offensive line that's so heralded with a couple first-round tackles. They've gotten whipped in a few games, and if there's one thing Kentucky can do, it's play defense and win the line of scrimmage. And when that happens, Quinn Ewers, we've seen him look pretty shaky for long stretches and sometimes entire games in his almost 3-year starting career now. So it is something to watch. I'm with you, though. I think Texas pulls away. I do think A&M's got the toughest test just because of the venue, the night game, and just the talent that Auburn's got on that roster. So when you add those 2 things and you're not looking at a big talent gap, then it's like, all right, if this team plays up tomorrow night, you're going to be in for a dogfight.
Right, yeah. If they put all the pieces together, if they don't turn the ball over.
Yeah, big if.
If Hugh Freeze doesn't screw the game up, they could give A&M a challenge.
If Hugh Freeze loses the last 2 games, I want you to rank. We did this a couple weeks ago, but let's now do a hypothetical. With the Billy Napier thing doing what it's doing, let's revisit this before we go. If Hugh Freeze doesn't beat A&M and loses to Bama, give me your hot seat, maybe not to be fired this year, but your hot seat entering 2020, top 3 in the SEC.
Yeah, and if things continue to trend downward, like I think they will for these 3 coaches, I think they're all getting fired next season. But I think at the top of the list, it's got to be Brian Kelly with the expectations. And again, I'm assuming they lose out this weekend, so throw that on top of it.
Yep.
I would put Hugh Freeze number 2 and Billy Napier number 3 because again, I think he's going to get destroyed on Saturday and all that goodwill. Those fans, they'll flip right back to we want Kiffin by Sunday.
He's going to have he'll have a hard time with that. But my thing, here's my hardest part of that. I'd almost say this is going to be a wild year in the SEC next year because you just said a minute ago Mark Stoops might be nearing the end, and I don't disagree with that. And then the one guy we've left off is angry Brent Venables. Angry Brent is going to have, I mean, if they lose, if they're going to lose to Bama, if they go lose in Death Valley to LSU and miss a bowl game in year 3, and they still have no answer at the quarterback position, and they're having to go out, he fired an OC, he's checking all the boxes, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
And
I'm not sure he survives either, but I don't know that he's on the hottest. He's right there too.
It's going to be a wild 2025, and as far as these, you could have damn third of the league turnover.
Right, and that Stoops one is just so interesting too. He's got a $44 million buyout. He and the AD hate each other. The AD's not going to give him $1 to go away.
Literally took another job within the conference, depending on who you ask.
I promise you, Stoops is not walking. They're foolish enough. They've asked him in the press conference, will you retire, walk away from that $44 million? He started laughing at him. He's not going anywhere.
All right, Mike, we appreciate your time, brother. Thanks so much for making a few minutes.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, buddy.
SEC Michael Bratton there on the Boss Firearms Hotline. We'll come back. We'll go through some of the matchups here with Billy Liucci. Let's talk Bird Dog. They're an Aggie-owned operated company creating access to hunting experiences. I took advantage of one in Brady, Texas a couple weeks back, and they are the way to go when it comes to hunting. They are the guys that you need to call to have your hunting experience. If you're a rancher, if you're a hunter, they're going to set it all up for you. They provide all the full-service hunting experience for corporate groups, friend groups. They handle all the logistics so you can handle and focus on the fellowship. They want to elevate those experiences as well. The website is birddogit.com. I highly recommend you go to that website and look into it. It's hunting time, right? Go find your hunt at the great ranch, birddogit.com. It's birddogit.com. We be back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. You're making fun of me? You don't like We Be Back?
Funny.
It was kind of like old man trying to be hip. Kind of thing. Is that what you're doing? Is that what you're making fun of me?
No.
I think you are, McKinley. I think you totally took a shot at me. I want to read this because, no, I don't believe this. Mr. ESP1, I actually love your commentary on the YouTube page, but I don't agree with this one. Scott Woodward should be on LSU's hot seat. No. He won a women's basketball championship, 2 years ago? He won a baseball championship since he's been there with his hire. I think he's fine. I think Brian Kelly was the right hire when they made it, but it's not working. But I don't think that's going to cost Scott Woodward his job. He's got 2 championships under his belt since becoming the AD there at LSU. It's TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. And let's do this. Let's give away something. As a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They have been serving Aggieland since 1984. They have your favorite pizza and, of course, your favorite world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com and your favorites are on their way. We go back to McKinley Polanski at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. McKinley, what do you have for us?
I have a text from Ag Pops saying, who is QB2 if, God forbid, Reed gets injured?
Connor Wigman, QB2. Yeah. I would say Connor Wigman would be the quarterback. I would assume you would agree with me, Billy.
You know what they say when you assume.
Whose voice is that?
Why would Zane give me a hazelnut?
What's wrong with hazelnut?
If the coffee tastes one way and you mix it with hazelnut flavor, I just like...
You're saying if you already have a flavored coffee,
yeah,
like you got the Texas pecan, let's say.
I don't do that.
Which one do
anymore.
you do?
Out of the HEB ones, I'm kind of into. I kind of like the San Antonio one now.
Roast? Yeah.
But I don't typically. I'm more of a. I'm on Pete's. This is a Pete's.
I'm a TexAgs coffee or a Black Rifle coffee.
You remember Zoolander?
I do remember.
He drinks that he tastes that coffee and he goes.
Part 2 was horrendous.
There was a part 2?
Mm-hmm. Many years later. Just like Anchorman 2. Not good.
I don't remember that. I just remember Mugatu spewing the coffee. Now, I do half and half, and I also think along those same lines that Connor Wigman would be the first to come in to a football game. I mean, I know what everybody's thinking, and I would agree if you said, damn, Miles O'Neill looked better than Connor Wigman against New Mexico State at the end of that football game. I totally agree. I thought Connor looked. I was kind of alarmed by just how out of sorts he looked, but I also remembered, but now I say that, and then you say, well, Miles hadn't even ever played, but it's been a while since Connor has played. If you go back to the first half of that LSU game, I do think it looked like a guy
he's lost his starting job.
Yeah, his confidence is not what it was.
And Billy,
it can't be.
He doesn't look like the same quarterback.
He doesn't. And so I understand why the question. I also see a lot of people assuming that would be Miles O'Neill. I do not agree with that. I don't think that would be the case. I'm really excited about Miles' future. I think he's got, I said from day one, I thought he threw the best pass on campus the minute he got here, as far as the arm. But Connor is your guy as QB2 through the end of this season. Now, I do think maybe Saturday night showed you that, hey, if we have to put Wigman in, and we do, and it looks like that, then it probably shortened the decision to say, hey, we got to try to win this game. Let's do this. But I think Connor, as we sit here today, I don't think there's anyone that wouldn't think that guy would be your best chance to finish out and win a football game. And it might be an instance where if he just knew he was going to stay in there and finish out a game, maybe his mindset changes a little bit. He's not pressing as much. The dude needs to see some success.
Yeah.
He needs to throw a couple of completions. He needs to evade a pass rush and scramble for a first down. Like, he needs to get out, in my opinion, and I'm not a sports psychologist, but get out of the overthinking and just worrying about anything and just go play the sport and play the game like he's always played. Now, will he get that opportunity? Who knows? There's minimum two more games. So we'll see. But I'd love to see a big game out of Marcel Reed, man. Like, what's Marcel's best game of the season so far?
Florida?
It's LSU.
LSU.
But that was less than half a game. I would agree with you. I think Florida, his first start was his best game. We're only talking about a handful of games here. So I would love to see one of these last two games where we go, oh, that was Marcel at his best. Because he was really good against Florida. I thought he was really poised against Arkansas.
Good in the fourth.
Yeah, just poised, even throughout. Like, he didn't, it was the guy people talk, Taylor Green was out there making mistakes. Marcel wasn't. He maybe was missing passes here and there. But I liked his poise in that one, in a close SEC game, in that environment, in the second start. But I want one of these two games where we go, that was his best game. And where we go, okay, that's what 10 out of 10 Marcel looks like. And this was it. It was against LSU for a quarter and a half.
He was ridiculous.
If you saw that in 4 quarters, and I'm not saying, look, LSU could not figure out, but let him gain that kind of confidence against one of these last couple teams as a runner, and then I think that really opens up the throws. I'm not saying he's going to hit Noah Thomas over the top 4 times in one game, but I'm saying he could hit that one. He could hit the throws he was hitting to, Theo and Trey Watson the other night, and mix that in with a couple of deep balls and him scrambling. Like, there's a game in there where Marcel Reed throws for 300 and runs for 80.
Right.
And is like a 4-touchdown guy. Like, that's 100% within his capability this season. So I don't know. Like, I would love, if we saw that in one of these next two, I think you can guarantee that one would be an Aggie victory. So let's see if we can get that out of him.
All right, let's hit a break here. We'll come back with more. It's TexAgs Live right now, a moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet. You can find them on Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com, locally owned and operated by Aggie alumni, complimentary pickup and delivery for their service customers, and free oil changes for life on your purchase as long as you own that vehicle. It is Caldwell Country Chevrolet, a proud supporter of Aggie athletics. They have a very strong and committed sales staff with many, many years of experience satisfying customer needs. If you have a pre-owned vehicle or if you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle and you want to do a trade-in, great place to go. If you're looking for a truck, great place to go. If you just want great service, great pricing, a great trade-in value, that's the place to go. 15-minute drive, Brian and Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people there at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio, hour number 2 of the program. Billy, you dropped some intel that I think we were hoping to be trending in this direction when we saw the injury report. I'll start things off with Ruben Owens, and I don't want to phrase things for you, but the way I interpreted what you said was he's obviously trending in the right direction. You wouldn't be surprised if maybe he had a limited look at Texas. Is that fair?
Maybe, when I say maybe, think about those words. Maybe limited.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe limited.
Not you're going to see him against Texas.
I do think he's, I said also that I think if A&M made the playoffs, you'd have him as one of your running backs, like available, ready to go. And that's not even guaranteed. This is what I think based on, just kind of the tea leaves and what I'm hearing. But I think if you went to a playoff and then also a bowl game, I think you'd have Ruben Owens available. And the one that I said was in question, like really interesting, would be SEC title game. Now remember, the playoffs are what, 2 weeks or a week after that? I think
it's like December 20th or something.
Yeah, it's basically 2 weeks after the SEC title game. So you're talking about another week to Texas, another week to the SEC title game, and then 2 weeks to the playoff. That's 4 weeks. Ruben Owens might be like ready. He probably would be ready to roll if you're sitting here like hosting a playoff game at Kyle Field or playing in a playoff game. So it is very noteworthy. When people say he's returned to practice, it's more about he's out there going through stuff. I don't think he's lining up and running up.
He's not like running back out there.
Running live, getting tackled against but that's not far off. So the Texas game, I would be surprised if you saw like an impactful Ruben Owens come in and impact the game with like, several carries or some big play. But we'll see. You start to see what Mike Elko is and his staff's approach are to some of these longer-term injuries when guys come back. They definitely like to ease the guys back in. You saw it with Jabri Barber. Yep. It's kind of they prefer like a ramp-up process where, hey, if you're practicing, you can go out there, but it doesn't look like we're not going to overload you. But it seems like they like to get the guy into a little flow of live action football if they can. And I think that could be what you see tomorrow from Chase Besantis.
Could.
There's also, we could get out there, we might be out there before the game and say he's not suited up. Because he is listed still, as of last night, as doubtful. So, could see that. But the good news there is that if you don't, or you do, whichever, there's still a real chance he would be out there as your starting guard against Texas. Again, that's not guaranteed. This is a guy that's been out several weeks with a significant ankle sprain, whatever you call it. And when he does come back to practicing and to some game reps, like how is that ankle going to respond in the day or two following in terms of, how it reacts to actually cutting and playing, so in a hopeful world, you see some of 71 tomorrow, and then he's starting against Texas. Neither of those things are guaranteed. But the other, again, going back to if you can survive Auburn and Texas, regardless of who's playing, who's not, if you win those games, I do think you'd have a fully healthy Besantis for the SEC title game. And then again, like with Owens, I think he'd be all the way back in time for a playoff. So, just keep winning games. Who cares how it'll work out? But that's easier said than done, obviously, and would be a lot easier done if those two guys were healthy and on the field.
But the fact that we're having the conversation with the two biggest games of the year, and I say biggest games because Auburn statistically may not be the biggest game, but what it means makes it one of the biggest games, and of course on the road. The fact that we're having the combo that Chase might play and that Ruben could potentially get a little bit of a look against that, I think that just shows you that is comforting and optimistic.
Well, I just think the fact that here we are in year one under Mike Elko, and A&M lost their first game of the year with so much buildup, so much hype, and there were so many questions about your offense, about your quarterback. Some premature, some turned out to be true. There were so many questions coming out of that first game, and like, man, is this going to be one of those years? Is this a rebuild? And just to watch them get better and better and better as this season's gone on, it is a little. It irks me a little bit that people after South Carolina were so quick to give up hope, and I'm like, that's such. It's just like, I think as Aggies, like, let's get out of that crap, man. Let's get, like, can we just go into a new era and truly shake off all the crap that you've been through and truly believe in it?
Don't you think these next 2 weeks go a long way for that?
Don't be the Cleveland Browns as they won last night in the snow. Awesome football game in the snow. I mean, you love a snow game. That was like a snow game on steroids. Yeah. That was amazing. And
it didn't look real.
Yeah, all those Browns fans. It reminded me of like a Texas snow. Like when it snows here, a couple of those times with these giant flakes, and it's like, that's what it tends to look like when it's like not supposed to snow that much. And, obviously that's probably a Lake Erie snow, if I had to guess, where that stadium sits. I've been there a couple times, right on the lake there. What do they call it? The Mistake by the Lake. But just get out of this mindset that, look, A&M laid an egg in Columbia.
Right.
It doesn't mean that, Nuño, the Aggies have not been playing bad football for weeks, as I've literally heard us try to say. It's not true. They did not play bad football. Well, hold on. Let me say. They did not play bad football against New Mexico State. They didn't play 4 quarters of great football. These dudes are up 24-0. 1 quarter and 1 minute into the game. It was let me finish this, because I don't even want a contrary till I'm done, or a counter until I'm done. They did not play bad football against New Mexico State. They just didn't. They didn't. It's a total. If I could cuss 7 times right now, I would. They played poorly against South Carolina in a game, by the way, that they were tied at halftime on the road. So it wasn't 4 quarters of crap, but they played poorly at South Carolina. I don't think you'd find anyone on any level, from head coach to the fan in the third corner deck, to say anything otherwise. And they ended the LSU game on a 31-6 run. They went on the road and won at Mississippi State by 10. They blasted. Until they went to South Carolina, they had a 7 freaking game winning streak. And they were winning on the road in the SEC. They were winning neutral in the SEC. They blasted a couple of top 10 teams at home by a combined like 60 points. I'm exaggerating, but they scored like 70-something on them. And then they played one bad game, and they suffered a big injury to Reuben Owens. Mm-hmm. And it's like everyone just wants to just melt. Way too many people have melted. And they're scared of Auburn. And I've probably been the loudest in saying this is a really tough game. It sets up to be a really tough game. A team that has lost a bunch of close games on the road at night. Yes, you should be worried about this football game. Forget the record. But at the end of the day, Texas A&M has shown through 10 games that they're better than the team they're about to play. And they have showed through 10 games that they're better than they played at South Carolina. And if you don't see that, then you just don't want to. And I've got nothing more for you than this rant. Now, and then Texas, they get them at home. Do you guys that are sitting here worried, do y'all know the impact that you and your energy have had on this football team this year? Look at Missouri. Look at LSU. The outcome of those games. The crowd impact they've had on Brady Cook and Garrett Nussmeier. So, like, if that's what stands before you, whatever. If that's what stands before you in year 1 under Mike Elko, raise your hand if you thought we'd be at this point. Okay? There is nothing disappointing or fearful about this. This should be hopeful and exciting. Period. Go to break. Nice. I like that.
It'll be short. TexAgs Live presented by David Gardner Jr. What I was trying to say with your very eloquent rant, which I felt inspired, Jocko, was that A&M played poorly-ish in a half against Mississippi State, poorly against LSU in the first half. They played 3 bad quarters against South Carolina. They played an excellent second quarter. And New Mexico State, I don't even think about it.
Yeah.
So that was my part.
What you're saying, and I agree with you. Here's what I say to that. This is not an elite team in year one under Mike Elko. There's very few spots on the field where they're elite. Over 10 games, we've come to realize this is a good SEC football team that is one of only 5 out of 16 that are still contenders. But they're not elite across the board. This is not something Mike Elko's built up over the course of years like some of these other coaches have. So there are going to be ebbs and flows and ups and downs. You're not going to play always 4 great quarters. You're not going to play great every week, but they've shown that they can survive it and win.
We got like 15 seconds. I got to read this. Michael Lucchese, Blowhard Billy, he tries to be relevant. Go bring us real insider information about X's and O's, what players have to say, not those studio puppet interviews and real
Michael Lucchese, you make great boots. Thanks for listening. Your takes suck. Shut up. If you have a problem, the front door's there. Nuño will probably slap you.
I can't say it out loud.
Probably. I said
We're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number 3, the final countdown. Steve and Seth McKinney. Hey, friends.
How we doing?
Good.
We are literally into the final countdown of the season,
This is, man.
This is
exciting.
it. This is it.
Did you guys hear Billy's rant towards the end of the 9 o'clock hour?
I did not.
I thought it was inspiring.
Update me.
I thought that I was getting scolded. But
He gave a whole, let's give me a little.
Basically,
Don't let Billy repeat it. We'll be here all day.
It'll be a while. Basically,
easy there.
Go hour.
Seth, what are we going to go eat a salad today? Can't even enjoy Friday
and
lunch
salad.
with him anymore.
I know.
It's gotten out of hand.
What?
The way he orders.
Oh, you're so ridiculous. Don't even.
Right, Steve?
Don't even start.
Hey,
No, Steve. Don't try to chime in with me. Don't try to don't.
We got the Liver King, and then you got the Kidney King over here.
Can I say something real though? When there was a thing called Lubies.
What about it?
Let's go get. There's a couple of them. But you know what he used to order at Lubies.
Yeah.
Don't say it.
I won't.
You
but
know what he used to order at
What?
Lubies. You go in there and you got all that stuff you can order. There's a whole, he would order liver and onions.
Oh, I love it. I love a good irony organ meat.
Very healthy.
Give me more.
He is the liver
I don't know if
king.
it's very healthy. It's deep fried liver.
Deep
But
fried.
it's just delicious, though.
I used to always try to get that because it looks good, and then you eat it, and you're like, oh,
Yeah, I'm out.
it's
It's
disgusting.
an acquired taste.
Apparently.
Anyway, that's your brother. And I wasn't chastising Nuño. I wanted to finish the rant without getting derailed.
Okay.
And he had a good point, but it wasn't to be. It needed to wait till the end, which unfortunately for him, we had to go straight to break.
Yeah, it was.
He came back and got it in along with the chastising text. Seth, you've had a commentary about Steve's shirt, I believe.
I didn't realize it was from 2013.
Yeah, baby.
That was a great.
This is the good
Cotton
old
Bowl,
days.
by the
This
way.
is
That
the
was
last year we won 11 games.
Well, that
in
may have been.
2013.
So it was a 2012 season.
I'll put that. You could put that game on.
That's where we're going this year,
You
Seth.
could put that game on a top 5 list of best games I've ever attended.
So he's actually wearing a 12-year-old.
It's ludicrous.
I was trying to find a black shirt.
Christian, C-Rod would be totally excited about it
right now.
This is my only black shirt I could find, guys. Ease up.
I was trying to update the guys on what I thought was a very eloquent rant at the end of the 9 o'clock hour, where you basically were like, look, they haven't been bad the last few weeks. They haven't played, what was the word that was used, playing poorly? Your thought was that they haven't been, and you gave examples of why.
I just don't think that, I think what we're saying is, we'd all love for them to look like they did in the second half of LSU or throughout the Missouri game every week. You know what that's called? They would be the number 1 team in the country, and they would be undefeated right now.
Right.
And if they did that in every game since Notre Dame, they would probably be ranked like number, 5, because they'd be just clubbing everyone. And my point, guys, I said in year 1 under Mike Elko, he hasn't had the time to build anything. He was building for, first and foremost, this season. That you can't. I don't think you can expect that. And by the way, I would love to go down the list of teams in this league and ask you who's playing amazing football. So let's say the first team somebody would say would be Ole Miss.
They didn't.
And I'd say these guys were losing at home to a bad Oklahoma team like 3 games ago.
Yeah.
They lost to LSU, the team that A&M bludgeoned 4 games ago. They've had couple really nice ones in a row, obviously, with Arkansas, Georgia. Like Georgia, where they at?
Up and down.
Everybody's
been just like us.
Are we talking about expectations right now from the beginning of the season?
No, we're just trying to talk about the concern is A&M. It's one of these narratives.
Are we talking about New Mexico? Are we talking about South Carolina? Because South Carolina, there was nothing about New Mexico. That game is nothing.
Yeah, but the narrative that not just from here but elsewhere seems to be A&M's come back down to earth. They're really not that good.
After one game, you have one bad game and we've come back down to earth.
Because now we're picking halves and quarters and I just think the answer, Nuño, is the Aggies aren't an elite team.
Right.
They're just a team that's good in a lot of areas. They're not really great.
They found a way to win.
D-line, and they're just
they're gritty. All right, and when you go out and you don't tackle like they did against South Carolina, you get what happened that game. All right, so I'm giving you that, but you're going to sit here and not be extremely happy about this year in the first year under Elko when my expectation was to be way worse. No offense. Than we are right now. I'm like extremely happy because I'm a fan, all right, but I'm looking at this and going, you've given me a tremendous amount of hope, Aggie football players. Thank you, and Coach Elko and everybody on that staff. That like you go out and do what you got to do against Auburn, you're going to have the biggest game in the history of Kyle Field played on Thanksgiving weekend.
In year one. I think the thing. The reason this is being said is it's trying to be painted into why this Auburn game is so scary. But I think you're missing the point of it is the Auburn game is scary because of Jarquez Hunter and his 7.0 yards per carry, because of Keandre Lambert-Smith and his 8 touchdowns, because of Cam Coleman and his 17 yards per catch in the freshman, because of
that's a different discussion altogether.
But my point is, you should be worried about that game because if you flipped Bama, Bama everybody's high on right now, right? Mm-hmm. Alabama, they're just, they're back. Kalen DeBoer, and they went to Baton Rouge and beat LSU. Okay, so if you put Bama going into Auburn this weekend and you flip the Iron Bowl to this weekend and Bama was playing at Jordan-Hare at night, people would say that is a dangerous game for for Alabama.
Yeah.
If Texas was going on the road at night to play Kentucky, who's not even very good,
it would be scary.
You would say that game is infinitely more daunting.
No doubt.
So it's about who they're playing, where they're playing, when they're playing, and it's about like, yeah, man, I know A&M doesn't really blow teams out, but they have won 1, 2, 3, 4 SEC games by multiple scores. We haven't seen much of that here.
I mean, no one's trying to anoint this A&M football team to be something that they're not. Yeah. Like you said earlier, I truly believe it. They're a very good football team.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and guys, some of the pessimism has to be centered around losing your starting running back.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right? And,
I get that.
Sure. Right? Like that, I think that's where it comes from because you want to see it so bad that you're like, well, the best offensive player is out, but Amari Daniels has been fantastic for them. Different type of running back. And then still waiting on Chase Besantis to be back. That's where I think some of the pessimism comes from.
You're right. I mean, there's a lot of questions because we want the offense to look the way it's looked in previous games when they've been successful. But in the back of your mind, you're a little nervous if we're capable of looking like that because we haven't truly seen it yet.
Yeah.
And that's why I think this weekend is going to tell us what kind of team we have going into that Texas game.
Moving forward, yeah.
Absolutely. Because if we can go in and move the ball efficiently, run the ball well, hit some play actions down the field, get Reed's legs going a little bit, I think everybody will feel real good about going into that Texas game. But right now, there's just too many question marks.
Steve, I think you're right on, if there's something to make me feel really good about A&M's chances against Texas, Auburn's number 3 in the SEC in run defense. I think they're number 3 in yards allowed per game defensively. If Marcel and Amari can successfully run the football against this DJ Durkin defense, if they can successfully run the football against them, I'm going to feel infinitely better about their chances against Texas. Now, if Auburn slows them and shuts them down or slows them down, makes it difficult, and the Aggies just have to grind one out, I'm not all hope is lost guy.
Yeah.
Because I think going on the road and winning that game is going to tell me a lot about this football team again. And by the way, if they win, Nuño, and they win Arkansas, Florida, Mississippi State, and Auburn, and they're 4-1 in SEC games away from Kyle Field, after what we'd seen the last few years,
that's pretty good.
That might be the most impressive thing Mike Elko would have done in year one.
Yeah.
Because we know what that history's been. It wasn't long ago where they had a 10-game road losing streak when they were going to the Swamp. It was 6 weeks ago or whatever. But But I agree with you. Like, can the Aggies impose their will against Auburn at the line of scrimmage? Can this D-line dominate and slow down the SEC's second leading rusher? Can they make life miserable on Peyton Thorne, at which time he starts making costly mistakes?
Mm-hmm.
Can the O-line create running lanes for 5 and 10?
Yeah, the biggest question that you're bringing up there is the offensive line. I mean, I think that they have got to go out and prove that they can be better than what they were, even against not only South Carolina, but New Mexico, like you were saying, is that Shanahan's got to have a great game this week. And then hopefully whatever happens with Basantis happens at the Texas game. But that's a key battle right there, because interior, they've got that kid that's a really good player. And I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Well, all across their front, their front seven, their secondary. I mean, their defense is going to be good.
Yeah,
we're gonna. This is definitely one of those games. If your offensive line has ever needed to step up and take over a game, this is the one. They have to show up. Period.
I also think this is a Colin Klein game, like Colin Klein versus DJ Durkin. And I feel like people disrespect DJ Durkin here, and this isn't personal. I really didn't get to know him much. I think I met him like twice. A nice guy, but this is I think it's personal for Durkin just because knowing coaches. I mean, he didn't really get fired from here. It was Jimbo that got fired, but you know how coaches are. Probably personal for Isaiah Rakes, which it shouldn't be because he chose to leave. So it should. See, now, if I'm you or you and I'm playing on the O-line, I want to kick that dude's ass. Like, I would want to whip his ass for 4 quarters and the whole game tell him about it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Every time I put him on his back, I want to get up. I want to walk the line of almost getting flagged. I want to be like a total jerk.
But that's the kind of guy that Shanahan is, so hopefully that thought's going through his head.
Hopefully so. Like, you left us. We want, Elko wanted Isaiah Rakes to stay. That was an Isaiah Rakes decision, even though Elko recruited him here. So that, to me, that's almost like a slap in the face. So I don't feel like, oh, this guy wasn't wanted. Forget that. It's the opposite. So hopefully this O-line, hopefully Trey Zune.
Yeah, that's what we said about Matt Schobel, right?
How are you bringing up Matt
Schobel? Y'all did kick his ass. Schobel. By the way, Columbus plays here in College Station tonight, Seth. If you're interested in going to watch.
See your old buddy Aaron. Isn't he the head coach?
Watch them play, run power the whole game.
Who's the head coach at
Matt?
Matt is.
Yes.
And his son's the quarterback.
Yeah.
Something like
going to TCU.
Okay.
Hell,
wouldn't you know?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't hate it if A&M gave him a call right now. Although that's Schobel, he finally landed on the alma mater, so I don't know if you're pulling him from that one. But anywho, Colin Klein versus DJ Durkin is it? If I was writing the key matchup still, that would be one of my key matchups of this football game because Durkin's a good DC.
Yeah, I thought
he did a good job at A&M.
I'm not discounting him at all.
He didn't do it. I wouldn't call it like a great job. He did a good job here.
By his third, this last year? I mean, he had it rolling.
Yeah,
pretty good.
They did a good job. There was he did a lot better job on defense than they were doing on offense. That much we know.
Yeah.
So this is one where if Colin Klein, like it's going to have to be execution, like you said, Seth, by those guys up front, but also the scheme and how they scheme up. Durkin and the Tigers. Yeah.
By the way, Michael Lucchese made peace. He just wants the game this weekend real bad. So
the Texas game.
Well, he wants this game.
Oh, he wants to win this one.
Yeah, so he's just he's good.
Like I said, I love your boots.
I don't think they're related.
I mean, I thought blowhard was a little harsh to lead it off.
I don't think he meant
it's like but it's like when you start off like. Ease into the criticism, and we can like have a conversation.
Like Leroy Jenkins right into the
like a criticism sandwich. Do it in the middle with love. Exactly. Billy, you're great, but I love you.
I'm a carb guy. Give me some bread.
All right, let's hit a break here. We'll come back more on the final countdown on TexAgs Live. Lewis Engineering, a machining shop located in Marshall, Texas. They want to be your premier metal fabrication supplier. They've been around since 1961. They have supplied engineering. Lewis Engineering has supplied the Defense Department, aerospace, automotive, oilfield industries. Doug Lewis is there. He's class of 2004. He's a fourth generation to own and operate Lewis Engineering. Great grandfather started in 1961 during Vietnam War Awesome company, awesome people. They specialize in high volume production as well as close to tolerance. They invite you to outsource machining to a company that many Fortune 500 companies have trusted for over the last 63 years. Call Doug right now, 903-938-6754, 903-938-6754, or go to lewisengineeringco.com. All right, we're back on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. I think pretty soon we need to go to Costa Vida, Billy. It's been a minute since you and I have gone there. That's our next lunch. That's where we're going.
We should go there today, Billy.
Good idea.
Costa Vida.
Holly's awesome.
Don't speak for me, and I love Holly and Costa Vida.
I love her too, and I love the food there.
I actually do need to go see Holly.
They're Aggie owned and operated, by the way. 4501 Mills Park Circle in College Station. I usually get the quesadillas. I like the mix, beef and chicken. You can do whatever you want there. It's so fantastic. Fresh Mex, Baja-inspired Mexican restaurant. Everything is fresh made. Check them out. Costa Vida in South College Station. You were making fun of me, Billy?
No,
I saw
wasn't,
pointing.
David.
I saw pointing.
Was I?
No, you can bet. No. You can bet when Billy's talking, he's probably making fun of you. So.
No, you're so defensive.
We were talking about lunch.
But you pointed.
No, I pointed at my phone. I was like this.
I'm sorry.
Get a load of this guy.
I have a little PTSD because I'm used to getting picked on. Okay?
Trust me. If Billy's talking, he's either exaggerating or picking on you, so it's one of the two.
Me and Michael Lucchese feel like we're getting picked on a little too much, all right?
Are you Michael Lucchese? Did you send that text?
Maybe
I wasn't looking, and he's like,
got him. Tell him that. All right.
We're all Michael Lucchese is what we are.
Guys, what have you seen from the offensive line in Chase Bisonta's absence the last few weeks?
I mean, it's definitely been a drop down. I wouldn't say it's like the end of the world type of performance, but you could tell. I mean, Bisontas he's a very, very good player, an NFL player in the future, and I'm excited to have him come back and get healthy out there. But Shanahan is not a bad player. He's not as good as Chase is, I don't think, just yet, but I think that he has a great potential as well. And hopefully he goes out and has a great game against Auburn because he's going to need to do that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you got really, just at that position. I mean, I think you lost a little at center when you went. What's his name? Naboo. When you lost Naboo, you took a little step down. And the same thing at left guard, and I think Dewberry and Shanahan are both playing well. They're playing good. But Bisontas was playing great.
Yeah.
Like he was playing at a very high level this year. So that's what hurt losing him, I think, is he was actually becoming a difference maker at left guard.
Yeah, he and Zune right by each other.
I mean, you haven't seen that at left guard since like the mid-90s. Billy.
Who's better left guard, you or Seth?
Oh, me. Hands down, dude. Seth was the center. He looked like a.
Didn't you play guard?
He looked like a fish out of water at guard.
I played left, but I was at right guard. Playing left guard, putting your hand down with your left hand. I mean, Steve obviously had all the vast experience, but snapping a ball is something different. But right guard was easy transition there.
Really?
I loved right guard.
Yeah, it's different putting one hand versus the other.
Shanahan, don't forget, Shanahan had kind of made a move at center.
Yeah.
He looked like he might take over starting at center there before he got injured.
Yeah.
And then, you had to shift.
And I actually liked
Coley,
him.
Who's done
I liked
a good
him
job.
at center. I liked what I was seeing at center, and then he get hurt.
Yeah.
Comes out of that game, and then Bisontas goes
guard.
down. Now he's back at left guard. So I mean, that's what happens in offensive line. You have to be versatile. You have to be able to play multiple positions. Unfortunately, the musical chairs can sometimes takes the whole group back just a half step.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can't take that half step forward. We just haven't quite done it yet.
Yeah. Well,
maybe we see it this weekend.
And you've had several weeks of it now, so it should be taking that step
This
forward.
would be the game to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that's what happens.
I want to get the panel's thoughts on this. Lane Kiffin's comments, and then what Urban Meyer had to say. I don't know if you guys have heard both of these comments.
No, let's go. I'm interested.
So Lane
put on the spot,
and Lane in a good spot, by the way. I understand. I wouldn't have said it, but I understand what he's thinking. I've talked to other coaches, so they'll just give you the kind of feeling that other coaches have. They don't want to be in the SEC championship game. The reward, get a bye in the CFP versus the risk to get knocked out completely. I mean, that's a pretty big, really big risk. So that's his thinking. Urban Meyer goes on his podcast that he does with Rob Brown, I believe it is. What do you mean? You hope to not go to the championship game? Like you don't want to like play in it? You want to go eat dinner afterwards? You get up in the morning, you're driving back to work. Do you say, boy, I hope we don't win the SEC championship? I mean, that doesn't compute.
No, I see both sides of this, and I think I know where they're going, and I'll get there in a little bit. But yeah, you want to make that game for sure. All right, you want to be in that game. You just don't want to lose it, right?
Right.
So, I mean, because I have said this all along, and I know people have various opinions about the power of Sankey and the power of the SEC to go in and demand that the loser of that game goes no matter what. I just don't think if A&M, it's not because we're A&M. It's because of the A&M's situation of being in that. If they do lose, they'd be a 10-3. It's not good situation, and I don't think that they make it. but not because it's Texas A&M, but because they lost 3 games. That's my opinion on it. But yeah, I want to be there.
And
desperately.
I get where you're coming from, but I want to completely disagree with you because in my mind, and I think a lot of people's minds, I don't know what the committee's minds are thinking because they seem to be all over the damn place. But if you're a 10-2 team, you just beat the number 3 or 2 or whatever they're at that point, and you go to the SEC championship game. First of all, you're going to be ranked somewhere in that 7-9 range. You're going to be playing against somebody in that 7-9 range. And if you lose that game, even by 10 points, there is no chance that you're going to sit there and tell me that the runner-up in the SEC does not deserve to be in the college football playoff.
I'm not saying deserve. I'm not saying
Here's
that.
my
I'm saying committee.
Here's my argument. This is what I would tell
I
the
agree
committee.
with you.
This is what I would tell the committee, and this is what Greg Sankey has got. If it comes down to this, the A&M's got 2 tough games to get there. But if they do, and they didn't, by the way, if they win these 2, they'll have a real chance to win the SEC title game. But if they don't, and if they're 10-3, and Greg Sankey has got to go to the committee and say, look, problem is that dumbasses on the committee don't view the SEC as the best conference. Clearly they don't.
It's ridiculous.
They view the Big Ten, and it ain't even close.
Have you seen the strength of schedule?
Yeah, in those morons'
absolutely
minds. But what needs to happen, you realize if Texas A&M plays in the SEC title game, there are 16 teams in this league, including Ole Miss, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Texas. There are 16 teams in the conference. Only one would have been 7-1.
Right.
They've played 8 games, only one. So not only would you be leaving out a 10-3 A&M team, you would be leaving out the team that through the regular season finished in first place.
With only one SEC
There wasn't like
loss.
some 6-way tie where the Aggies and Bama both got in because of weird tie break. I mean, A&M would be the only team that went through the league with 1 loss. Not Texas, not Bama, not Georgia. So that, to me, would be as big an argument as anything else. Then you'd have the head-to-head versus Texas and say, how do you put the Longhorns in over them? So there's a lot that you can say.
Okay, at that point in time, though, you just have to have a lot of faith in the committee, which, no offense, I just have zero faith in that committee.
I'll make a prediction right now because I feel like we've seen this happen in, at least some point in the years past, where you get into that last week of the season and you see them kind of reset that top 10.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
You've seen that happen where, people that we've been saying are overrated all year.
Indiana,
like all of a sudden they're like out of it. They drop them out of it. And Texas, like if we beat Texas, where do you put them? They've got 2 losses. They haven't beat any
one spot right behind it.
Where do you put them? You're telling me you're gonna put them in the playoffs over A&M, regardless of what they do in the SEC championship?
Come on, man.
Well, let me.
There's no way,
by the way,
dude.
can
That's
I
crazy.
just jump in with something
There's no way.
completely random?
Sure.
You guys saw Bryce Underwood flip from LSU to Michigan. And
$12 million, supposedly, right?
Portnoy's been making a big deal of it. And this is wild. This is, and I will say, like, I don't like this about college football.
No.
Now, and look,
It's ridiculous.
We are active on the NIL front here, but this is just getting. Michigan's collective puts out a statement. We want to thank our founding members and others associated with Champion Circle who have worked tirelessly behind the scenes to make it possible to continue our work building championship teams in Michigan. Here's where it gets crazy. Founding member and chairman Nate Forbes said, "We are very excited to keep Bryce home in Michigan as he continues to build his legacy." Okay, so their collective is putting out statements about this high school recruit.
It's crazy.
Thanking him and talking about his legacy. I want to personally thank, I can't read this because it's so dark, Jolyn and Larry Ellison, who were instrumental in making this happen by providing Champion Circle with invaluable guidance.
The Cisco Larry Ellison?
Oracle,
yeah.
Okay, so.
Yeah. And what's his net worth again?
$220 billion.
That's like, he just made that.
$231
In this conversation,
billion.
he just made that.
So
we need a salary cap, man.
that is And I'm not like A&M's way up there in the haves or have-nots in this thing, so it's not like sour grapes, and I'm not acting like A&M players aren't really. But this, like, it's getting crazy. And when you see statements like that, I'm like, okay, then let's see the Texas Aggies United. Let's start putting out propaganda to go recruit guys.
Yeah.
And let's have people openly, A&M's got some big donors, openly go out and put videos out like Dave Portnoy and say, hey, guess what? I feel like throwing around my net worth and going and buying the top quarterback in the country for next year. We lose this, we're looking for the best wide receivers in the country to come to A&M. Come here and you're going to get or hey, Seth McKinney, Steve McKinney, I'm talking to you. You talk about like the 2 5-star old linemen A&M's recruiting, Michael Fasusi and Lamont Rogers, like, hey guys, I'm worth X number of $1 billion. I want you at it's
crazy.
That stuff's in play now. It's in bounds, and it's crazy to me.
It is crazy, but it's not going anywhere.
No.
Not right now.
Sucky as that is.
Let's hit a break. We'll come back with the Freak of the Week and the Sleeper of the Week. Aggies, it's time to show the power of the Aggie Network before the Aggies and Longhorns step on the field on November 30th. A&M and the University of Texas are hosting a rivalry fundraising challenge. The challenge is simple. Starting on the 21st, running through 11:59 p.m. Central Time on the 29th, the university that receives the most donations wins. Make a gift now at tx.ag/rivalrygive to help Texas A&M win this challenge. After you make your gift, spread the word to as many Aggies as you know. Donations for A&M will go to the associations of former students to support scholarships, recognize student organizations, financial aid, Aggie traditions, former student support, and much, much more. Again, go to tx.ag/rivalrygive to make a gift and help A&M win this rivalry fundraising challenge. It's the Association of Former Students. We back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studios. Time for the Freak of the Week.
It's the Freak of the Week.
I don't know if you guys were in sync there.
Well, I felt pretty good in sync.
Let me just try it again. Let's go, JT.
Seth was off.
It's the Freak of the Week.
It's the Freak of the Week. Okay, here we go.
3, 2, 1.
It's the Freak of the Week.
You were expecting me to start, weren't you?
I was.
All right, I'm going to do it again.
No, we blow it.
Chance. Do it with me conducting. Ready?
There you go.
Oh, wait.
It's the Freak of the Week. All right, you guys suck.
I have lost. Oh, my goodness.
Seth, why don't you start?
By the way, Seth, I went and saw it back-to-back. Or Friday night Creed Matchbox. No. Three Doors Down. Tuesday night Jelly Roll. So big concert week that you were not a part of.
Well, thank you.
Actually would have enjoyed both of them.
Big Jelly.
The roll.
Now, I'm gonna go with we got to have a great game out of him and continue doing what he's doing and build on what he did last week, throwing the ball that he's the best that he's thrown. And Marcel, man, I think he's going to do a great job. We're going to need him to just continue what he's doing on his legs and continue what he did last week with his arm, and we'll get there. I thought that I was very impressed. I know it was New Mexico, whatever, but at least he was getting the ball there and putting the ball where it was able to be caught. So I was very impressed with that.
Yeah,
I agree with Seth, but we'll pick another one. Okay. I'm gonna go Jabri Barber. I think somebody's got to do it in the receiving game, and I think Colin Klein can draw up some quick timing throws from Marcel to get it out of his hand and get it to Barber and let him make some things happen and maybe soften up that defense a little bit to where they run the ball more effectively as that game wears on. So I think he could be maybe not necessarily a ton of yards, but a volume reception, kind of almost like that not possession, but that stay ahead of the chains weapon.
No, absolutely. We'd love to see some yards after the catch from this offense. I'm surprised nobody picked Amari Daniels.
There we go.
You know,
somebody just did. It sounds like.
No, I'm actually going a different direction. I do want him to be a freak this week, but I'm going with a little different direction. I think Nick Scorton.
Yeah.
This is a week where if we're doing a really good job shutting down the run, living in that backfield, pressuring Peyton Thorne, he doesn't perform well under pressure. He has a tendency to, make bad decisions. So I'm hoping that this is one of those games where we really get in the backfield and live on that quarterback. And I'll guarantee you one thing, there's no chance that this dude is breaking up tackles in the backfield like Sellers did.
That was ridiculous.
No, he's not, but
he's just not.
And
I'll tell you what I need to see better of from A&M, and it involves Scorton and Shamar Stewart and these DBs, is they better hold the edge.
Yeah.
And they better set the edge on, Jarquez Hunter, because he can pop it outside and rip off big plays. So that to me is going to be the key.
Yeah.
Is how do your DNs
play
the run?
That was some
because
bad.
If they do that,
was bad against South
If
Carolina.
they do that, then they're going to get to Thorne because they're going to be behind the chains. And if they can pin their ears back, they'll run through this Auburn O-line. But
Surely
they got to win.
Surely they fixed that from South Carolina.
You would hope. I mean, that's a must. But they have been that when they do give up rushing yards, it does feel like they give them up on the edge and the perimeter. I think a lot, maybe as much because of the DBs in run support than the ends. But it has to all come together. They just can't let. It'd be very hard to run inside against these guys.
Absolutely, for sure.
All right, now it's time for the Sleeper of the Week, presented by the Sleep Station. Go see Jared McLeod and ask about the Tempur-Pedic mattress or the Purple mattress in the Specs parking lot at Texas and Harvey in front of the Lowe's at William D. Fitch and Highway 6. The website, thesleepstation.com. Steve McKinney.
Oh, yes, baby. Give me the Swede.
Woo!
Nice. You saw against New Mexico, New Mexico State, we ran a lot of the 12 personnel with 2 tight end sets. It was very effective for us. That is definitely something I could see us continue to build on, especially after you lost.
Well, you get Swede and Trey Watson then, so we don't double up this talking point.
We'll take both tight ends.
You're the only one that was going to double up that talking guy.
I'm just saying.
I mean, Trey Watson, too. I mean, they're both interchangeable, I think, but Yeah, I mean, this is to me is one of these games, and I think really going forward is every game we play the rest of the season, we need the tight ends to be a bigger part of the passing game. You can see they worked on it against New Mexico State.
Seth?
I've said his name a number of times on Sleeper. I know Steve has too, but Terry Bussey, I think he can bust out and have a great game and utilize him in a number of ways. I don't know what they could do, but they can utilize him in whatever way they want in the passing game, the running game, whatever it is. I think that he can do that and have a great game.
Luch?
I'm going to go with, it's fitting that I'm going to pick him as a sleeper. A few weeks ago, we wouldn't have thought this, but I'm going to go, it's a little chilly right now. I'm going to go sleep with a blanket. I'm going Will Lee. You know, he's been quiet. He was really active and involved in a lot of turnovers early in the year. He had that whole thing with Theo Weiss and the blanket. I'm going to go with Will Lee / Des Riggs. That cornerback position, they are going to be put to the test by these Auburn receivers. But I think the combination of being tested plus getting pressure on Peyton Thorne, there are going to be a couple interception opportunities. I think we see 26 grab one. Will Lee gets in the interception column this week, makes a big play.
Pick six?
That might be the biggest stat of the entire game. Did you call for the pick six?
He did.
I said it as a question, not a statement.
It's a play, right?
Pick six?
It's an actual play you can run.
Seth Gabe.
According to
Gabe and Tim Walls.
Walls.
Yeah, Tim Walls.
Going to run a pick six.
Yeah, run the old pick six play.
All right, duck camp time. It's awesome clothing, very comfortable. The shirts there are super comfortable. They fit good. They look good. They're not boxy. They just fit really nicely, and their gear ranges from so many different things. You can wear it out and about. You can wear it when you're hunting. You can wear it when you're fishing. It is just awesome clothes. And, of course, the Mallard Game Series hats that Billy loves to wear. I love to wear it as well. He doesn't like the way I wear it because I'm a flat bill guy, apparently. But duck camp gear has been tested in the backcountry of Alaska to the dove fields, ready to keep you cool and comfortable. Oh, yeah. They're all over the place.
Best place to test it, I've always said.
Yeah, you have said on this show many times. You've said it.
Backcountry Bill.
Duckcamp.com. Duck camp gear is made for people that live for the moments out there where there are fish to catch, birds to hunt, and a time to kill. Football to watch is duckcamp.com. We are back on a show that we call TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is now time for Pick 6, presented by Prize Picks with a final countdown. Go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to receive guaranteed $50 once you play in $5 lineups. I think it's a good idea to do it, especially now with rivalry week coming and, of course, this huge game against Auburn. We go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. McKinley Polanski, you've got games for us.
Yes, I do. Number 5, Indiana, is traveling to number 2, Ohio State. They're playing at Ohio Stadium at 11 a.m. on Fox, and Ohio State is favored by 12.5 points.
I got Ohio State.
Yeah, I can't. I'm picking this out of just sheer anger. Ohio State is going to cover. I hope they beat them by 50 from there.
You're going against Signetti, boys.
He's a winner.
How could this guy doesn't lose? He's like DeBoer. He's going to figure it out. They're going to lose, but they're not going to lose by 12.5. And these losers are going to stay in the damn playoff. I don't want them to.
I agree with you.
I want them to lose by 30 and drop from 5 to 14.
Let's hope that
They
happens.
haven't played anyone. It's a disgrace that the committee.
It is a disgrace.
It's a disgrace that the committee's that stupid that they can't sit there and go, it's a nice story.
The 83rd.
But you haven't beat anyone.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Signetti. You talk a big game. You're a hell of a coach. But if you want into this playoff, this is the game you have to win. Period. You got to beat. And I would have said the same thing to Boise. Ashton Genty. Now, they could get in as the highest group of 5, so it's different. But Ashton, you want to get in, you have to beat Oregon. It's the one chance you had. You should have beat them. You didn't. You should have won that game. You didn't. You don't play anybody. SMU. Okay, wait. SMU. You want in? Beat Miami. Get the automatic.
There you go.
Miami. If you can't beat SMU,
You don't deserve
then you're
to be
out because you already lost to Georgia Tech. Same thing I say about Texas, but even more so because Texas at least is in the SEC. But if you finish a 12-game regular season and you don't have a meaningful win, you need to be out. A&M, if they played Kentucky and let's say Auburn at 1-5, if you don't win those 2 games, if you go 10-2 and you didn't beat Texas and LSU's fallen and Missouri's fallen, you should be out. Georgia should get in over you. Ole Miss, Texas, all of them. Like, if you don't win a meaningful game, you're out.
Mm-hmm.
So even like if A&M went 10-2 and they didn't beat anybody, you're out. I would have been sitting there like, please Missouri beat South Carolina. Please LSU don't go on a 3-game losing streak. We need games that matter. Texas, Indiana, Miami, SMU. If you don't win a meaningful game, your ass is out. It should be that way. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm going to allow.
Agreed.
Somebody said I'm ranting a lot this morning. You're damn right
Ranter.
I am. You're damn
This
right.
season's really building up on you, I can tell.
Hey, I'm ready. You know what?
Okay.
And I've got revenge
Maybe
on
not.
my mind. Revenge on my mind. And it's coming in a week
You
and
should
a
have been
half.
playing Mo Bamba during that.
Looking
race.
ahead, Billy.
I'm not looking ahead, but I'm looking. I need some ammo provided by my Aggies.
You're looking at the nice horizon.
Yep. Go ahead, Seth. Oh, go ahead, Nuño.
No, I'm going to allow McKinley to talk.
Okay.
Polanski.
Number 9, Ole Miss is traveling to Florida. They're playing at 11 a.m. at Florida Field at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. It will be on ABC, and Ole Miss is favored by 9.5 points.
Oh, my word.
You tell me no one in Florida's donor base has named that field yet? It's still Florida Field.
Ben Hill Griffin.
Well, what about the field?
Oh.
Naming rights.
This is at Florida?
Well. I don't know, man.
What's the spread, McKinley?
9.5.
Ole Miss by 9.5.
I think Ole Miss.
I'm going to go Florida.
Ooh, Steve just lost because Ole Miss is going to roll.
No. I think Florida's going to hang in there. Lagway's,
they're not.
Lagway's playing pretty good.
Ole Miss's defense is too good. Ole Miss's defense is going to get after Lagway. They're going to punish him.
We'll see about that, buddy.
They're going to punish his ass.
I'd like to be wrong.
He's not going to be able to. And Trey Harris is coming back. And
But if I'm wrong, they better lose. That's all I'm saying.
I think Ole Miss wins this one pretty big. Mike, SEC Mike said 42-17. I don't think quite by that much, but I think they cover.
I got nothing to lose, boys.
With me, hey, I've been on a miserable streak. I went from 10 games over to like 1 game over.
I mean, OB's in first place
by a game.
That's how
along
bad
with the Walrus.
Tied with you.
That's how bad this year is.
And I've had 2 good weeks.
The only
so
person
still in
that's
second
been
to
bad
last.
is Nuño and Caroline Fenton. I think Caroline's just picking out of a hat now. She's been better in the past. I think she's just like, this is like, why am I still doing this? I'm not even. We need to get her on. We might need to get her on this week. She's been doing bigger and better things.
All right, let's go.
Polanski, please.
Number 14, BYU is traveling to number 21, Arizona State. They're playing at Mountain America Stadium at 2:30 p.m. It will be on ESPN, and Arizona State is favored by 2.5 points.
This is another anger pick. I'm going with Arizona State. Cover this.
Yeah, let's get BYU out of the play here.
I'm actually with you. I think Arizona State wins. You got what you guys don't know. I'm predicting you have no idea and you've never watched. Nuño might have.
Watch a little bit. I like Kenny Dillingham. I do.
Yeah, Dillingham's interesting, but I'm talking about that running back, Cam Scattaboo. Have you ever seen him?
Yeah.
I've heard about him.
I've watched him one game.
He can ball. He's a really good.
He's like 150 yards a game.
He's a
He's
stud.
a beast, man.
Hard to tackle. Like
What year is he?
passionate runner. I don't know.
Let's go get him.
I'm saying, like, that's a dude. That's a dude now. I watched BYU a couple times this year, and I'm just I'm good. They should have lost to they should have lost to Utah. They should have lost to Oklahoma State. I'm going with Arizona State. They're a nice story this year. I think they win it.
3 of his last 6 games: 153, 158, 182.
Let's do it.
Hey, by the way, if you're going to listen to Louis, see ya. We'll keep it going on YouTube for a few minutes. Polanski, sorry for the snap.
Snap.
Loud snap.
What was that?
So rude.
I love Snap's clothing.
Number 19, Army versus number 6, Notre Dame. They are playing at 6 p.m. at Yankee Stadium. It will be on NBC, and Notre Dame is favored by 13.5 points.
As much as I want to believe in the American dream, Notre Dame is going to roll this. So Notre Dame. I've already won a Notre Dame pick when they beat
Seth,
Navy.
why don't you give me a good Army?
Oh, Army hot!
What the crap, dude?
Rest your man!
I'm going. I'm going with Notre Dame. People aren't giving Freeman enough. They play an easy schedule, but they've also been a wagon since that NIU loss. I mean, NIU. NIU.
Mm-hmm.
They've been an absolute wagon. They've been killing people. They've been beating the crap out of, generally, there might be an exception in there, but generally been beating the crap out of bad, average to bad teams. And I like the story of Army. I like them being ranked, but that's over with.
Yeah.
Notre Dame's beating them. There's no chance.
And
what's the spread?
13.5.
13.5, yeah.
And they're going to cover.
Yeah.
Do you? What's the quarterback's name from Army?
I forget.
Well, do you remember? You remember when Hunter Goodwin
Hunter
came in
went
here?
on, yeah.
He jinxed the whole.
He talked about him for like
got
20
hurt,
minutes.
yeah.
And, yeah.
Bryson Daly.
Bryson Daly.
Yeah, Bryson.
Yeah.
Remember Bison DeLay?
Daly.
He died.
So
Are you sure about that? Because it's
I've killed people on the show before that weren't dead.
no. He's dead, but it's like a lot of mystery behind it.
It was a boat.
Is it a murder? Did he just
His
disappear?
brother maybe killed him, right?
Did he disappear and come back as someone else?
Yes.
There's a lot. There's like a documentary on it.
He used to have a different name. Do you remember?
No, but I know.
I believe it was Brian Williams.
Right, it was. You're right.
Okay. All right. With all that being said, I'm picking Notre Dame.
Thank you.
We went way off.
Do you know who Bison Daly is?
No.
Nobody knows who.
I didn't either.
Well, I look.
So
If you watch Rockets basketball in the 90s,
How did
watched
you
him.
not know a guy named Bison DeLay?
very easily.
Yeah.
Never heard of him.
Bison. What about Seth? You'd have been so proud of me yesterday during the Ask Liucci segment. Some guy's name was Junkie Cosmonaut. You don't know what I'm talking about, do you? Because I nailed it in 2 seconds, and I was so jacked. I said, that's from a song in the 90s, Junkie Cosmonaut.
I have no idea.
Like
What is
a
it?
junkie cosmonaut, hey, do you want to go down low
Is that
by Crack?
Cracker.
Oh,
I'll
really?
be with you, girl.
Oh,
like me in
good
love.
grief. Okay.
The fact that those two words, and I went to it, but I'm about to say, when you're talking about Bison Dele, it made me think of, this might even be Nuño that gets it first. What song did Nina Cherry sing?
Nina Cherry. Oh, gosh, that's right.
I don't know, but I've heard it.
I don't know.
I'll give you a hint. Gigolo, sucker.
That'd be a
That's a terrible hint.
Y'all
Can we
don't
get
know.
that in a
Oh, my
clip?
God.
Y'all don't
I mean,
know.
my goodness.
Gigolo,
Buffalo
sucker.
Stance.
Hum it for me.
I'm not gonna.
What even?
Come on.
What is this
All right,
show?
next
Let's
up.
go.
Hey, by the way, just
Nina Cherry.
tip to
Just
anybody that
interrupt
likes tip to anybody that likes country. Brooks and Dunn did another reboot,
Oh, yeah?
and there's some really good ones on
Nice.
Check
Go
that
ahead.
out.
Okay. Number 7, Alabama is traveling to Oklahoma. They are playing at Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium at 6:30 p.m. on ABC. Alabama is favored by 14.5 points.
Phew, I'm a favorite guy, man. On the road, too. I'm going Bama, man. I think they're just going to roll Oklahoma. And I can't wait to see it. Are we still rolling on a 1-7 Oklahoma in the SEC?
That's what it's looking like.
I would like to pick Oklahoma in this one, but they're like a beaten down dog.
I love it.
They've given
I
up.
love it.
Oh.
Better be careful here. Hold on.
Yeah,
We're not on
exactly.
radio, so-
Billy, make your
Oh,
pick.
okay, we're not.
I got Bama.
I got Bama too. I think that one's a blowout. And even if OU like plays hard, like they're going to have such a hard time scoring points. Even if they like play hard like they did against Ole Miss, they still lose by more than that to a good team.
Yeah.
That's your
Pulaski, that's your kid.
don't wait for Billy.
Here it is.
Number
I remember
Oh,
this
here we
song,
go.
yeah.
Here we go.
That's right.
Yes, I know that, but I don't know the words.
I've heard that song.
Yeah, Buffalo Stance.
1988, 89? Yeah. Yeah. I'm good. Oh, here's the hook.
I wanted to get to that one part I did, but we couldn't find it.
Okay.
Please, save it.
And you have some fun.
Number- I am
having fun. That's why I
Listen
said
up, man. Put the schedule
man.
off.
Life's not
Put
all
the
just about
schedule
jiu-jitsu, man. Just relax.
Armbar. Be great.
Life's not all about grappling.
I'd get my butt kicked anyway. It doesn't matter. Go ahead.
How'd it go with that Brazilian guy you went?
I didn't get to go.
my
I didn't get to
word.
go. I wanted to go see him.
How'd it go with that? That meeting at the mall with the Brazilian guy?
Carlos Machado.
You were meeting some guy at the mall.
How'd it go at the meeting, the Colombian at the Post Oak Mall?
I think Machado could take all three of you. I'm sorry to say.
Well, I think I hope so.
At the same
Why
time.
didn't you go?
Kids soccer. Like my life. Pulaski.
Okay. Number 15, Texas A&M is traveling to Auburn. They are playing at Jordan-Hare Stadium on ESPN at 6:30 p.m. Texas A&M is favored by 2.5 points.
It's actually pronounced Jordan
I know. Jordan.
Spelled
I'll
Jordan.
go. I'm going to go straight up. A&M's going to win this game, and I agree with what we talked about earlier, David. I think they win in that 7-10 range, and setting us up nicely for the biggest game in Caulfield history. A&M covers. Boom.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm there with you, buddy. There's no chance I'm picking against A&M this week. We got to have this one.
Like I said, one team's at 1-8, and they're 5-1. It says 6-1, so they're misled me here.
They lied to us again.
I think they're 5-1 in the league, and the other team's won 4 games, and they're 1-5 in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I know that guarantees nothing, especially in the SEC, but I do think it tells you over the course of a 10-game body of work that for several reasons, A&M's the better football team. If they're playing at home, I think the Aggies roll in this one. They're not. I think it closens it up. I'm going to go with the little wimpy pick here, and I think A&M barely covers. I think the Aggies win like 24-20, 27-23.
And I will take that.
I will too. It's going to be really stressful, but I think the Aggies win close.
I will
cover.
I will take it a win uncover, for that matter, and be very happy about it.
Oh my God.
gosh, I'm not ready for that. I would love Nuño for you to be right. It's like a 31-21 type of game. That would be so much more enjoyable. In fact, what if I would love to see the Aggies just put it all together and say this is
us.
Two halves of LSU football. This is the Missouri game.
Let us come out the way that South Carolina came out against us.
Yeah,
exactly right.
This is the Missouri game all over again. Like I'd like to see one of those type ever, or because every game we just mentioned, the home team did it. South Carolina, A&M. Let me go see them play like they went and showed up at
Florida.
What is it? Ben Hill Griffin Stadium at Florida Field at the Swamp. Let's go see something like that.
Let's do it.
Look, I went through. We'll talk about that later. It's not a big deal. I went and looked up A&M's. No, I was curious last night. A&M's record against every SEC team, and they're like 57-45 since joining the league. I would like to see it against other programs. I bet it's like fourth out of the 14 teams, maybe.
That feels right.
What in the hell is going on out there? Speaking of buffaloes,
There's a meeting.
There's a lot of yelling going on, and it's one person's voice.
Very particular.
That it's like this.
Oh, you're talking about Brawny.
I didn't hear Brawny this time.
Oh.
All right,
we're going to go. Aggies at Auburn. Big game this weekend. Yeah.
They need to do a 30
Let's
for 30.
go.
They need to do a 30 for 30 on this.
On what?
On Bison Dele.
I think they did.
Oh, I got to watch it.
Yeah, I think that's why I know about it.
Yeah. This is good. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.